Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures pretty mixed to start once again this morning, coming off the worst session to the downside for the NASDAQ since October. Last trading session of February coming up at 9:30 today. Overall, we had the Dow down about 559 points when all was said and done yesterday. S&P lost 2.5%. The NASDAQ leading, as I mentioned, 3.5% to the downside on Thursday. Investors continue to focus on higher interest rates and bond yields still to the upside. 1.6% on Thursday before pullback to about 1.5%, the highest level since February of 2020. So we'll talk about that and keep an eye on bond yields once again today. Individually this morning, as we mentioned yesterday, one of the biggest earning days to get through. Today we have Beyond Meat, Airbnb, DoorDash, Space, to name a few. Etsy as well, higher in the pre-market this morning after a blowout report for Etsy. We'll have a look at all of those and more. It's Friday, February 26, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. A look at Asian markets from the overnight session. Yeah, pretty ugly throughout the APAC region. There you can see 3% and 4% for Hong Kong and Shanghai, leading to the downside. Let's go over to Europe and see how things are shaping up. More negative numbers right across the board here. France and Italy leading the way, 1+%. England as well, nearly 2% to the downside. We'll shift over one more time and have a look at North America. You can see the NASDAQ actually just went positive there. We had PCE data that just came out, actually better than expected. Looks like 0.3% for January versus 0.2% expected. So a little bit of a bump here in some of these futures contracts. Brazil's open up a full percent already. Bitcoin down again today, 4%. We have crude and gold also both in negative territory. Good morning, guys. It is Friday. Finally made it to Friday. Going to be an exciting session once again. As we said, the biggest earnings day to get through as far as this earnings season is considered. Lots of big names, lots of big reports, some not so good. But, I mean, Etsy, we have rocket companies, Sean, moving to the upside.
Yeah, hey, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I've just tweeted it out. Hey, look, we're up 14% here. We are going to be celebrating that. Not only are we up 14%, but we also have that special $1.11 dividend coming to us as well. So, like, you get this price plus basically $1.11 in dividends, so that's nice as well. And dividends are taxed different, of course, than capital gains, so that could be a good thing. But anyways, yeah, rocket companies to the moon here. Look, I still think, I mean, I wish it was higher. Obviously, we all do. We still got to get through here, man. This is what I was just tweeting out. We got to get through this 2350 area up to 24. We got to make sure it can hold this. I almost wish they didn't do the dividend because I wonder if it would be $1 higher even if it didn't have that in there, because again, that comes out their cash. But yeah, look, tenfold revenue. I mean, I was saying, the reason why I like the movement on this is because we sort of played it out for you. You know, we know that there's a housing rally. That's exactly what they stated. And then you get 10 times revenue, or sorry, 10 times net income. And yeah, it's a big one here. We're also waiting. DraftKings has been pretty good. There's a lot of up and down. Space, if you're holding that one, I guess that stock can go into the gates of hell. There it is. Today as well. So we'll be trading that. Neil, there's a lot on board. I love the Beyond Meat movements in the aftermarket. We'll be looking at that. A couple big deals for them as well.
Yeah, it's if you get some of those aftermarket prices, I mean, every now and then they can be a gift, but they can also take it away here. It's interesting you mentioned this because Rocket's been a very, very stable stock. So there's still some over exuberant longs that are in this like 23 to 2350 range that have been trying to take this breakout time and time again. And I'm sort of with you. I feel like those would be in the money if not for that special dividend. And this is one of the things, because you guys know that I love Virgin Galactic, and we talk about when to take profits on things. And if my chart will actually load for me on the daily chart, there we go. And we talked about this. Was it too early to take profit at 50? It looked like it when it was at 60, but you know, again, we talk about never holding into earnings. I will say this, though, if you're waiting patiently, well, what I think for me was a missed opportunity. Well, it wasn't a missed opportunity on Lemonade because it never came far enough down for me to get back into that game. But I think that actually is going to happen. And we'll talk about Virgin Galactic here because when things get beaten up and when no revenue companies have poor earnings, if you still like the concept in the long term, well, then that can be a game for you there. But patience can be a bit of a virtue. At the bottom of our watch list, and we're going to get into a watch list a little bit here, but I should tell you, I already took one short on this AFI off of 560 level. You can see 557. Just a quick in and out scalp. We'll get to that one a little bit later, but a nice little early start to make up for NAK, which I took a bit of a hit on, Brennan.
All right, yeah, going to be an interesting morning here. We have lots to get through as far as individual names moving in the pre-market. AFI definitely one of those. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Valeria.
Good morning, Brendan, and happy Friday, traders. I wish you a successful, positive day and kindly remind you to click the like button. Let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, let's indeed get it started. Just looking at the futures here, guys, we're getting a little bit of follow through, some volume coming into the futures. I want to show you this number that came out there at 8:30 was the personal consumption month over month. So core PCE price index that came out 0.3% versus 0.2%. So a little bit of a look at, I guess, the overall confidence in the economy in the U.S. a little better than expected there. So that seems to be what is pushing futures higher at this point. So positivity possibly coming to end off the week. Lots to talk about as far as earnings, guys. I want to start things off with these meme stocks that we were looking at yesterday. The sell-off that we saw in GameStop at the end of the session. We were sitting here watching this thing went from 150 to 130, and then that move from 130 specifically all the way down to 100 right at the end of the day was just pretty impressive. I mean, there was really no bid.
So I want to leave things off here. I see in the chat people are asking the question, pink hair will be on Monday. Now keep in mind, we got to 6,000 likes, so forget about me being bald, not going bald, shaving the head on the weekend. Miss V will be donning the pink hair Monday, guys. So thank you very much for getting us there. But hey, let's make it 2 days in a row. Let's get to that 6,000 number. I like it. It's a big one. Yeah, I mean, GameStop options expiration, of course, comes in today, and there was all of that short duration 200 call buying, which might have started the secondary frenzy. For me, it was interesting because I actually made most of my money going long yesterday in GameStop, and then it was really, really a struggle to catch anything. And on the way back in the afternoon, there were some good short opportunities. I missed out. Well, I got some of the early ones, but missed out on the big ones at the end. I was immediately looking at this thing, which was holding a 125 level, and thinking that was going to be the first trade this morning, and then it already took it out. So I was really hoping, and yesterday it was like 150, was just an unbelievable sort of floor, and then it was a quick short off of it. You got those halts at the bottom, and then it came back to the upside. I'd love to play out in the similar fashion, where if it fails to take out the top, there's a quick retracement short. If it goes into successive halts, I mean, that trade was absolutely gangbusters. Whether you got 108, 113, 120, it almost didn't matter on the way back in. So if we are going to hold this 125, I would tend to think the 115 bottom could be it. You look at that 95 that you were mentioning as a low in the afternoon, Brendan, but there's just 0% chance that we're not going to get super volatility in this name. And do not sleep on some of the other meme stocks, right? Like I know I was heavily trading over in GameStop in particular, but AMC just as good. I don't know that we made any executions in BlackBerry, but that was moving as well, Sean.
Yep, I like BlackBerry just putting some orders out here in case Rocket wants to go even more. Yeah, so you talk about another meme stock here. Look, I like Neil's been trading GameStop more than me, and I've been trading AMC. So, I like AMC a little bit better for me, but I mean, we'll look at both of them today. I was just looking at this level 857, 860 or so if AMC can get going. And look, we dipped down to there about 3 o'clock. Oh, thank you to Sydney there liked, and to you, Brendan. She liked that Twitter review. So you can check that up on our page as well. We'll talk about that. We're doing a trade review every day. So we've done CCIV, Workhorse, and Twitter. So, okay, drop down here. That's on our YouTube page. Drop down 860 there, 860 here, and then sort of 860 this morning at 7:30. So 860 is the level that I like for AMC, and then obviously if you break anywhere below the bottom here of 780, then that's going to be a problem. So I don't think it's worth really trading in between right now. This is only a 1 minute chart. If you're going to play breakouts, you got to wait anyways. It's only 840, so we still have lots of time to go. But breaking through here, 855 seems like, or 860 seems like a good play here on AMC. The daily chart is what it is. It's not really going to give us too much levels or actionable areas here. Obviously, we've closed and opened twice at 1050, so that could be a spot right here if we get to that. But I mean, that's quite a ways away. So I'm gonna look at 860 and 780 to the downside. We had to pay for shorts, so I assume you guys probably will as well. So make sure if you're looking to go short on AMC and you're with Day Trade the World or GameStop, you'll have to pay for those or contact your broker. I mean, I don't know what the different situations are out there. Wow, the NASDAQ just absolutely, I mean, I know we went over some numbers there, but the NASDAQ absolutely taking off right now. What a big mover here, up 0.93. If you bought yesterday, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, it was a bit of a negative feel as we were sitting here in the pre-market this morning, but definitely helped by that number that we were mentioning. Let's have a look at that video, in fact, that we were just talking about, guys. Make sure you take a second. We're going to try and do one of these every single day for you. So we're going to take one of the trades from the show and kind of pick it apart, analyze it, talk about why we were looking at that stock, first of all, and then how we approached trading it. So yeah, that breaking news that came out in the pre-market yesterday for Twitter in that video. Great stuff to learn about in that video. Let's also have a look, guys, at the top 10 traders from Day Trade the World from yesterday. Want to have a look at this list. We haven't done this for a couple of days, but big numbers once again coming out of a whole mix-up, or mash-up, I should say, of markets here. Some Canadian, mostly U.S., even OTC pink sheets, 200,000 at number 1, 104,000 number 2. More Canadian and U.S. markets here. You got to go all the way down to number 6 here, 28,000 to find just the NASDAQ alone, 50,000 number 4 there for just the NASDAQ alone. So still great opportunities, lots of volatility, guys, and opportunity in this market. We want to talk about some earnings names here. They're all on the watch list, so we're going to kind of pick these apart as we go through the watch list coming up in a few minutes. But let's talk about Etsy first of all. Blowout report. A lot of people sitting at home making crafts, I guess. I mean, Etsy, the CEO was on CNBC this morning talking about some full year projections that were also better than expected for that company.
Hey, yeah, Etsy. Where's my Pinterest sympathy bump? Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the session here. The interesting thing about Etsy, and we've pulled this chart up before at least a couple of times, and it's probably a heck of a lot more interesting for you guys that will be looking to invest at Etsy and maybe look for these little dips to catch it off that 50 period on the trend. It's done. This is post earnings up 10%. It's done 100,000 shares. So it's not always going to be the best day trading stock in the entire world, but there's no ignoring the fact that I think. If you look at themes in general, it works for stay at home, but then some of I guess the consumer exuberance, or lot more saving, people have more discretionary income, blah blah blah. I feel like this is one of those plays which could at least still but fare much better than some of the other, I guess, high flyer runners during the pandemic. So I've been a Pinterest guy myself, but I think that's basically splitting hairs here. I think you can probably buy this one on dips. But when it comes to a day trade, I mean, it's crazy. Like I didn't think there'd be a $2 spread on Etsy, and it couldn't even do 100,000 shares in the pre-market, which means, for our style of trading, there's very few opportunities there unless you get something absolutely crazy, like just a little flush to the downside, like we had a couple of days ago, and then you're catching a rebound style trade. Like those are the types of things you're going to pull off here on Etsy. Things like breakouts, don't love too much there. Like things like trying to pick a dip buy in the middle of a range. I wouldn't be involved in Etsy. And I did mention it. You still up 10% Etsy there. Just going to go to Pinterest. It is literally up 1%. Not getting much of a sympathy bounce, and it hasn't done much volume anyways. I'm just sort of being a little bit annoyed. I thought we'd be up like 2 or 3% on this particular name, and I love it around this range. The 77 to 80 range looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at Etsy today, so I'm just focusing here on Rocket, as Rocket's taking off again right now, 23.50 or so. There's a call. You like 17% in one day. That's not horrible. And yeah, we're back above. Like I told you, my average price was 21.25, 21. I'll find out exactly when I log in, but yeah, we're up nicely here on Rocket. And we just touched out there 23.45. That's kind of that level that we are looking at here. We're going to get to Rocket. It's on our list, but just took off a little bit there. So watch out. I mean, you could have had those 22 or you could have had $21 calls, like I told you I was getting yesterday for like 15 cents, 20 cents now. Now they're about $2, as you can see. So congratulations, anybody trading that today. It's a 10 bagger plus that, depending on which ones you got. So AMC, oh, and the reason why is because we dipped down here yesterday, right at the close to 1990, 1980. So you're able to get some 21 or even 22. I mean, I know some of you guys are even messaging to me there on Twitter that you did get $22 calls. So if you guys want to put those in there, what you paid for those, I guess once the market opens up, we'll be able to see the difference there. But it looks like it's going to be a good one. But watch out, man. I mean, I just think we just touched that high, 23.50. That, to me, seems like that is going to be a tough spot to break out. We did look at that on the daily chart. And yeah, so Rocket, a good trade so far. Doesn't mean it can't pull back. I mean, look at the market going upside. So we'll see. I like that one-time special dividend of $1.11. We talked about that. I wish it was in the stock, because then I was just wondering if we would be seeing $24 instead of 23 if that dollar wasn't paid back out. But maybe that adds to the short squeeze. Oh, I'll throw it back to you, Brendan, but someone asked me for the short interest on that, so I will find it for you guys in 1 second.
I think it was 30.
Yesterday, or 34.
It was around that 38, 39, somewhere in that neighborhood. I'll throw one more at you here, guys. We'll talk about Foot Locker real quick. Another one that reported in the pre-market this morning. This is a surprise, I think, on the miss side for Foot Locker. They were talking about digital sales and online revenue being much higher than expected, but their holiday season sales specifically did miss. Their revenue beat, their per share also a little bit on the weak side for FL. So Foot Locker lower this morning.
Yeah, it's 8%. I don't. Foot Locker's actually done rather decently. It's a little run to the upside here in the recovery. Probably a lot of other names that have done better, and I would lean more into Nike, which I think is a little bit boring, but certainly I think a better long-term type of play. This feels a little bit. It's hard for me to say, like, I don't necessarily love the stock, but it does feel a little bit overdone if it's going to trade below like the 46 range. We always talk about clusters here, so the best I can say is this 46 to 48.5, where it seems like we bottomed out and made a bit of a recovery into. I'd expect a test of that zone. Usually you see these clusters and then have more trading in there. It would be a bullish sign if it traded above there all day long, but I would not be surprised if we settle down in that range for a few days, which might make it a little bit of an unsexy play. I don't know, I much prefer Nike, so we talk about Etsy and I say I like Pinterest. We talk about Foot Locker and I say I like Nike. But that's just certainly the way that it's going to go here. I'm not a huge fan of this name, and it's only done 20,000 shares pre-market. There's not going to be a day trade here. And you can throw these things out as like pie in the sky type, but in the other direction of what I would have said about Etsy, the only way you'll likely see me in Foot Locker is if this thing actually tries to make a big push to the upside, and you can fade some of the levels, like a 50 in front of 52 kind of thing, where you're shorting some kind of a nonsensical upward move, which I don't anticipate coming in this particular name anyways.
Yeah, my bad. I haven't even looked at Foot Locker.
All right, let's go to upgrades and downgrades. Few interesting ones on this list this morning. We'll talk about Twitter here coming up in a little bit, but interesting news, launching a premium paid service that's going to be launching very shortly. L Brands, HP, Carvana, all very active this week. There's Plug Power, top of the list on the downgrade side, guys. Space is on here as well, getting crushed after earnings this morning, down, I think it's actually more than that now. Wayfair and Workday on here to the downside today, guys.
Wow, right. Just noticing Plug. Plug just put in like a $2 move from a consolidation. I mean, I actually had this up maybe like 30 minutes or so ago, and I was like, okay, like it just made a little push off $40, trying to come back in here after a $3 pre-market move, and I thought it was settling down in around 42, 42.5. And looks like we're getting right back towards, and they closed at 43, but Plug getting right back towards what would have been like afternoon resistance at 45. So maybe we're on the breakout train here. And this is not the first time you would see a stock that is done this, which, and I'm showing you the short term. You guys can see the daily chart, how far it's come down. But this sort of double top at 50, you get multi-stage down moves. It's been under a lot of pressure. You start piling up some downgrades, and then that's exactly when the bounce does happen. So I don't know. I didn't actually think the bottom was going to be in just yet on Plug, but at some point there's going to be a good breakout trade. I thought we'd consolidate. And I still anticipate maybe we'll sell a little bit into the open here, and I like that. I now like that 42.5 to 43 range where it was consolidating, especially if you get a pullback into that range. I wouldn't take a 45 breakout. That seems a little bit too overextended at 8:50 in the morning, but it does look rather strong.
A lot of people talking about Palantir, and yeah, I mean, it's bouncing back a little bit, only up that 1.5%, but a big move from 23.50 to 24.50 right now. Yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about Palantir and what we think about this. I love this stock for the longer term. I think we get to $40. I think it happens within the next couple months. So as long as this market keeps, being healthy, Palantir will go. But I did want to talk about Twitter here quickly. Another upgrade today, up that 3%. A few new instruments being introduced there on their platform. So hopefully that can start it off. We hit a big trade yesterday. That was the trade review. We actually got long in here and got out right at the top, $80 yesterday. We got out off of a 76 long. So that's the trade review that we did there yesterday. And then we also had quite a nice short through. Was it 78 or 70? I think it was 77 short. That's what it was. We short through 77 and got out right here, and then we got out our last bit. And then I don't know if you guys remember what lunch money was, but it was a break to the downside here on Twitter. And yeah, so you have lunch for days if you did take that. I think it was probably breaking right about here. What time was it? So 11:08. We probably did lunch money around here. So it was probably a break of 78.50 or so. So when that happened, you got a smooth $4 there. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of that. And we'll see if we can't get some good love right here today as we have a Hoodie Friday there. The only problem is I haven't worn this watch since Kevin O'Leary roasted me for wearing a smartwatch. I've only been wearing the big guys, but now we're back to the smartwatch. So I don't know if that's going to jinx it because we've been on an incredible run so far, but we'll see. Traders believe in some jinxes. I don't know if I do.
All right, guys, let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market. We've mentioned a few of these already, but if you haven't done so, make sure you take a second. Head over to that link and register for the new website. Again, the emails will be coming to an end. So if you are looking for the watch list, you got to take a second, as I mentioned, and head over and register once again for that new website. We mentioned a couple already, but let's have a look at Beyond Meat to start things off. Remind me, guys, if I don't get to it, let's talk about DraftKings as well. They also reported this morning. The plant-based will go Beyond Meat to start things off, though. I mean, the report was decent, but the bigger news was actually about 5 or 6 minutes after the actual numbers came out for Beyond Meat. And they announced that they've signed an agreement with both McDonald's and Yum Brands going forward. So they are going to be McDonald's preferred supplier for the McPlant, guys.
McPlant. Look, I mean, I was talking about buying Beyond Meat on any kind of weakness, and I was even messaging these guys last night when we went back down to that 140 area, right about here. That's when the earnings came out. We ripped up to 170 based on some deals with Yum Brands and some deals with McDonald's. This was crazy because their income's not there, right? So they got hit and they got, but the new deal there, and they didn't guide forward. So I think that was obviously a little bit of a problem. But look, Beyond Meat's in a league of their own right now. It's a first mover advantage. We love that space. It just makes a lot of sense for me to a lot of people moving over. I mean, look, there's a lot of estrogen and there's a lot of things about whether or not Beyond Meat is the environmental friend that we all think it is. But it still gets a lot of love. I know my wife prefers them to the normal burgers. I'm down with the red meat, so I'm sticking there. But yeah, 155.20, a good little spot, and I think we're going to have to take a long here on Beyond Meat. I like the stock. I'm a long-term holder on Beyond Meat. I actually got in just after I got in on the very first upgrade of Beyond Meat, which was around $80 or so for that one. So we've been playing that, and it's been pretty good. Some nice little dips down here in November, holding this area right now, the top 145. So you do have some areas of support there. So look, I like it. I like it through 155.20, I said. CCIV here, we're long at 30.75. So once again, man, I don't know if I should ring the register here. We're 40 cents now in the money on CCIV. So we'll take one part off if we can get it. I mean, another 50-cent win for us, guys. So yeah, let's just keep the walking on water here with CCIV and go to the high side right now. I don't even know if I should get this out. I mean, I'm waiting right now at 31.40 to see if we can get that trade. But yeah, we'll see. Up to 23 right now. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but let's watch out for CCIV up 12% today.
Yeah, and if you guys are interested in Beyond Meat in that space, I would urge everyone to look up Nassim Taleb and the minority principle as to why you could have, and why it makes a lot of sense that at some point in the future, and look, whether you're talking about 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, there's a decent chance that the new norm is going to be either this printed or specifically these alternatives. Because if the price point and the taste and the nutrition gets close enough to the approximation where the average person doesn't care, well, if you sit down and you have a family of 4 and one person's like, I will not eat real meat, and the other 3 are like, yeah, whatever, it tastes about the same to me, guess what you're going to be having every single night? It's just a principle that makes a lot of sense to me. And I just talked about this when it comes to like having pie in the sky levels and throw some bids out there. We're mentioning like, hey, if you like NVIDIA and you think you can go to that 505, 510, well, have a bid in there. You think Tesla, did you think it was going to go down to 620 that day? It's the same thing with Beyond Meat. If you actually want to get involved in the stock, but you're picky or you're cheap or whatever it might be, it never harms, especially in these situations, if you want to get into the equity, to just say, hey, look, I like it at 120, 125. You know, I tried this with lemonade, didn't get it in front of 100. But it's certainly one of those things that you can do, and you would have been rewarded in this particular case. And yeah, it can happen and blow through you on bad earnings, but at the end of the day, if you wanted to pick it up and like that price point, it never really hurts to be prepared in advance and not just wait for the day that the stock moves into that range to make a decision.
Just looking at Tesla here a little bit, guys, moving back to the upside. Apparently there were some comments made from Elon about a post-Bitcoin Tesla. So we'll see how that transpires. Tesla moving back higher, though, in the pre-market here. Let's talk Airbnb. Better than expected booking numbers on Thursday reported for Airbnb right across the board. Really good numbers. Gross bookings did fall 31% to 5.9 billion. There was a pandemic, but still better than what everyone was expected as far as the decline was concerned for Airbnb, guys.
There you go, Russell Jackson. There you go. Thank you so much for that super chat there. Every time a floss is shown, we're gonna get that. But we're not just gonna floss to get you get all your money there, Russell. We'll floss when appropriate right now. But thank you so much for that one. That's a good call there. We would like to let's get some games going here if we can. That's fun times. Okay, yes. So CCIV upside. We talked about that. You want to talk about Airbnb? So Airbnb right now. Let's go over that and have a look. It's obviously on the NASDAQ. Come on, let's go. Okay, so 190. I mean, if this doesn't look you right in the face right now, then I'm not sure what we're doing, because Airbnb right here, it's dumped off to 190 a bunch of times, bang, 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 all pre-market. So if you like the release, you have up 3%. It needs to break through 190. That's a no-brainer. So we'll just wait to see. I think you can get long here around 186. That's sort of been some of the resistance spots or the support levels, I guess, on the downside here. So 186 on Airbnb, or you break through this 190. It's going to be, it's not a trade to take, and I know probably Neil will say this too. It's not a trade to take at the open because the spread is going to be so big. It's even quite nice right now. It's still a half hour to go before the market opens. But the point I'm trying to get at is that you could get slipped pretty easily on some of your prices here. It has a big range off this number, 180 up to 190. So I guess that's not big. $10 on, it's 5% range. Actually, it's quite small. So let's just wait for a 190 break. You could see some action here. If it does break 190, it's going to go to 191 super, super quick. And then that breaks, then it goes to 192. So a 190 break definitely gets you $2 in my opinion. So you have to take at least back down here to where VWAP is right now, 188. So I think it's worth $2 one way or the other. CCIV, come on, buddy. We're still 50 cents in the money, but we are offering 31.40 to get out of half of the trade for 80 cents, and then we'll wait on the other half. But right now, CCIV going to the moon, it looks like.
The thing about Airbnb, I know it's up that 3%, and certainly there are some positive things here when you talk about also probably in recovery, people are going to be traveling a little bit shorter distances, driving to locations. Maybe this is probably going to be a bit of a boon here, and I think that's one of the negatives for international flights, and while we talk about that with Mark when he's on. There's another level to watch for me on Airbnb, and you're going to file this one away because that double bottom yesterday at 180, and then of course also holding in the pre-market when there was some trading in down here above that price. I know we're a little far away from it, but if this breaks, and let's say we do have a ramp up, let's say we push into like 190 and do that break, and I like it as well, so don't get me wrong, I actually like that break, and I wrote the same thing down myself. I think 192 and then 194 is an obvious area that you can get to, but if we can't actually break that 94, then maybe next week we're looking at a 180 breakdown. And if there's a 180 breakdown, I would say be patient, because you might be able to pick up an Airbnb at a really, really good price if it breaks that 180. But those types of floors, when they go, get very interesting to me. I did double check, even though I'm going long. I think we have free shorts on Airbnb today.
All right, let's jump into the market here. We'll have a look at not Sean, but
5 more bucks, and we're also cashing in right now. Forget about $5. Look at this CCIV. If you took this with me, guys, there's 75 cents right there, and still ripping if you took that with me, guys. So there it is. Another big trade here for CCIV as we just keep on going to the moon right now. So 3160 coming through right now. Big trade there. And then Brendan, man, I mean, I don't, you know, sometimes there's books out there, one great trade. I mean, there's a lot of people could make their month, could make their year here if you traded Rocket properly. There was a tweet yesterday that said something like, I think it was from you, Joseph Mendoza, that as soon as I said that I bought some calls, he piled in. I don't know if I do that every time, but so far so good here on Rocket. I'm trying to get my calls out for $1.50 after paying 20 cents. So let's see where that goes. If we can get to the upside right now, I don't know where this is going to open up, but it looks like it's going to be a good trade for Rocket. Oh, and someone wanted to see the short interest. Here we go, man. Exactly what we said. 39%. Right now, you probably won't find a stock bigger than that right now. And if you do, message me because and it has to be a decent stock. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I don't think like GameStop's not even 39%. I don't think anymore. When this loads, I'll get it to you. I don't know why it's not loading right now, but Rocket Mortgages rate or Rocket Companies rate up to 24.20, guys. 20% return. Let's go.
All right, let's bring in Arun here. Yeah, let's go. Let's bring in Arun, have a look at the overall market. We had that personal consumption number that came out at 8:30 there. Seems to have kind of started this reversal a little bit this morning, Arun. It's been weak otherwise, but it's the first time I can, you know, in recent memory, remember a PCE number moving the market like this.
Yeah, well, this market is very sensitive at the moment, right? You can see it based on just the ranges are insane. So any good news will move the market a lot further than it normally will. So where we are, we're at 38.47 quarter on the S&P futures. At this price point, it's in a very interesting spot, actually, because this ends up at the top end of our overnight range and also where the congestion in terms of volume would be from yesterday. So around that 50 mark is going to be a tough area to be playing around. Thing is, though, there was an opportunity to buy earlier today, which I was able to get into. If you start, you know, futures do trade 24 hours, almost 24 hours. So if you are able to step in pre-market and have that ability to trade it, I would take that shot. So I was able to get in at 26. See, in that 25 area, I think there's a real potential for support all the way down to 3,800. So if you can get that risk reward ratio right there, you're able to at least move it to the top end of the range. So if you risk 25 points, you know that the top end of the range is at least 50. So you have that ability to at least make back what you're risking. So as we approach this 50, now I've already took some out, but I won't be getting in anymore. I do have the 60 marked off above us, but it is, you know, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that level. I've marked it off in the event that I'm really forced to take a trade, meaning that the setup is really good, the risk reward ratio is really good. Then I'll take the trade grudgingly, but I will take the trade because it is set up. But at the same time, I'm not going to be stepping in immediately because I think that level is going to slide a little bit. That 60, it seems to be pretty, it's there, but it's not exactly solid. So it might go to 75, and then the top end level that I have confidence in is going to be at that 38, just over that 3,800 mark. Because there's a lot of action in front of that. So if we get above that, then, you know, we have a chance to get into the 15s going on up. But yeah, for me right now, it's going to be that a long opportunity down below 25, from 25 all the way down to 3,800.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again on Monday. Guys, we are under 30 minutes away from the open here on a Friday. Last trading session, as we said, of the month of February. Let's talk about DoorDash, another earnings name, aftermarket yesterday. I mean, the report itself was actually decent. They did report a loss of $312 million, which was bigger than the prior year, but it was to be expected. It also reported a threefold increase in overall revenue, which was a positive. They also said they're going to be negatively impacted in the first quarter because of Proposition 22 in California coming into effect, which is that bill that says their drivers and their delivery people have to be employees, not personal contractors.
Yeah, and we were just talking about Airbnb a second ago too. You think about this reopen theme, which is certainly coming into play, and DoorDash obviously will be not negatively impacted by that, but I think everyone anticipates that slowdown. They got beaten up very, very hard on these earnings, but let's let's sort of keep in mind that this is sort of it's like a double move here, because there was already a flush in the afternoon on DoorDash going in to those numbers. So you were really talking about like a 178 to 180, where there was just all kinds of solid consolidation, and then you had like a $15 to $20 drop before. There's a slight recovery there before you get this other $30 move down. So when I see the stock up $10 from the lows here, I sort of say to myself, yeah, but that's still a $25 move, essentially from that initial flush point. So that recovery, it's still less than about a third. And I wouldn't really think that there's any juice to this unless we're above like the 160 mark. I look at these pullback prices post-market after earnings, and I like those. I like those levels. I want to be in the short side of DoorDash today. They're very open to the long break when it comes to Airbnb, and if it ever got to that 180, I would certainly be looking at the short on Airbnb. But DoorDash is the other direction here, and it's just, for me, you can see the relative strength. We're basically, so relative weakness, I should say. We're basically not pennies away, but a couple of dollars away on that flush on earnings from those lows. Now, this is worth bearing in mind for those of you that were not watching the show, that didn't watch this show when we were talking about this like unlimited buyer that was at $140. Back here early in the year in January, there was like 2 or 3 days in a row we kept talking about this, going long in front of it. It was a great break one time when it went short. We're saying there's someone that just will not let this stock trade below that price, and then you saw the ramp up there. So keep that in mind the next time we get down to that 140 range. But I think I want to be shorting into it. Of course, when it gets there, I'm gonna have a bid in front of 140 for it to take a day trade long. I just feel like the way I saw it bounce before, the likelihood that you might get a similar trade, or even half as good as it was the last time down there, DoorDash is worth a look. But if you weren't watching then, it was an interesting 3 or 4 days. It would just sit there all afternoon, and someone would just chew up that bid. Any selling would get bought right back to that price.
Okay, quick check-in here. Those of you with Cardano know we're long at 18-19 cents. So there you go, $1.10. Just an update on that one, up another 3.5%. ADA, one of our friends sent us something that Wall Street Bets now, I guess, going to be on Cardano. A little late to that one, Wall Street Bets, but not late to some other names there. CCIV rips up to $1 in the money, coming back down a little bit now. Okay, I like this 144. Someone said something in the chat, and they're 100% right. Like, let's not take victory laps here, guys, on anything. I'm just talking about Rocket. A lot of you guys can get out now. It's 9 o'clock. If you did buy shares, you can exit them right now if you own them. So I would say if you wanted to do that, go ahead. For all of us holding options, well, I'm holding the stock and the options, then you're going to have to wait for it to open up. And hopefully, that's why I keep saying, let's hope that it can hold upside. This could easily, I mean, when you get a number, in my opinion, honestly, this is not the greatest sector. And I keep tweeting that out. I talked about that yesterday. It's mortgages. It's not super sexy. And oh, by the way, refresh, right? Rewind. Where's that rewind button? What did I say would happen when it breaks 190? Do you remember, Brendan, what that was going to go directly to? 192. So there it is right there. And I was wrong. It does go directly. It doesn't even stop. It breaks 190. Doesn't even, this is 1 minute, guys. I'm not in. Doesn't even stop. Goes to 192, stops a little bit back to 192.05. Now it's at 194.50. So there you go. That's a big break there on Airbnb. So once again, guys, we'll hit the air horn. I'm not in it. But if you guys took that 190 break like we were mentioning there, and I don't know the spread. I mean, you might have been long at 190.50, even 190 something, but there's a 195er there. So, man, I wish I would have had that. But we can't have everything on the show. We'll just hope to have a few of them.
Yeah, pretty thin in the pre-market there for that Airbnb, unfortunately breaking before we get to the open. Let's talk about Space here, guys. Another one that reported another loss for Space. I think the important thing to note here is Richard Branson has said time and time again this company is funded right through to when it is commercial. So the money part is really not even an issue. They did come out and say that they are still having pandemic-related delays and said that their next test flight will now be scheduled for May. They're going to come out the end of March and introduce their second spaceship, though.
They're pushing, look, they keep pushing back. And I will say this much. The most positive thing I can say about it is I'm willing to get back in before it goes to that 25, right? So we love that at 25. There was a 27.50 breakout, which was a fantastic day trade. And we're pulling below the 50 period, but there's this other price, and we talked about this on the way up because there was another break right at 36. So this is the pullback that got that great consolidation long, 25, 25, 27.50, whichever price area you had. It was a secondary breakthrough there, and this is where we happen to be settling. I was actually anticipating that we'd get a further drop. I thought this would be rather weak in the pre-market, but instead it's bouncing off a double bottom. So I was looking at a 35.50 breakdown, and I'll probably still take it if it comes, but you just saw Airbnb blow to the upside. Just saw DoorDash starting to head back to the upside. Now Virgin Galactic heading to the upside. So I don't know if this bottom break is going to come into play, but I do still have 35.50 as a price that I would like to go short. I certainly think there's probably going to be some areas before 25 where it might make more sense to get in, but this is a company that's not making any money yet. I personally think because at some point in my life, it would be on the bucket list to go and be a passenger into space. I think it's really cool, and I don't think I'm necessarily alone. But that's a long-term venture, guys. So if you're buying this stock because you actually believe in the long-term vision, and I know it's been a high flyer and one of those types of things that you can make some money on in and out. That's why certainly not at 60, but at 50, I was saying, hey, take some profit on something like this. And today, I lean to the short side. I don't have any levels to go long unless we get a dip. But I'll have to play it by ear. Maybe something will come after the open, but I'm looking at that 35.50 for a breakdown short.
Yeah, I mean, I like space. I think I'm going to go a little bit the opposite. I think it's a screaming long. I think you just go long here if it does break through 38. I mean, it's one Kathy Wood tweet away from going off. So, I mean, well, that's $38. I will not be short space today, but I do like it. I mean, that level's screaming at you, that 35.50 to 36 if it gets back down there. I would say build longs in this area, 36, 36.50, something like that. It's coming down. Again, I'm going to wait. Anything that had earnings, I'm really going to wait now. I think we've had some great, huge plays when we've waited for stocks. So I really, really think that we got to wait for space, but I will not wait on a 38 break. I think that's a screaming long. Okay, right here, let's just check back here. We're still in CCIV. Right now, that's a 45-cent win. It did rip up huge, man. We were in the money at $1.50 there. Let's see if that can get going. We see rocket companies still to the upside, but fading off that 24 a little bit. I like it. I mean, we've talked about that. As I said, that special $1 dividend, a $1.11 dividend is huge, but I almost, I would rather this thing be up for those of us that do hold some of those calls, but maybe that'll help squeeze it a bit higher on that one. So I do have an offer to get out of half of that position. Space is right here as a sell, so you're going to have to watch out for that. And then other than that, there's not a whole hell of a lot on the board here for today for a Friday. I was actually expecting it to be a little bit more. But let's see if Rocket does take out this 24.20. I know that's on our watch list. And you guys want to make sure you join up right now. Watch list, this is it right here. Trader TV Live, tradertv.live. You could do that. There's links there to sign up for our watch list. It's all right here right now. We're going through these names. Space, we've already done Etsy. We've done GameStop. We're talking about Rocket as we speak. Workhorse, Twitter's on here, so on and so forth. It's your one-stop destination, guys, to get the list. So just hit that up. We solved the problem, Brendan, of not delivering on time. Some emails, some people a little sad that some got it, some didn't. Look, we're sending out tons of these. We won't say how many, but a lot. So we had a problem there with the mail server. So now we deliver it live and fresh to you guys on a webpage.
And the best part is you don't have to wait. As Sean was mentioning, we did mention GameStop, guys. A lot more people have joined since we were talking about it. So let's have a look at GameStop, take a look at the chart at least and see what we need to be aware of as far as levels for GameStop. It's worth noting the rest of this group this morning is definitely a lot lower and even negative in some cases, and GameStop trading higher once again. So
that might lend itself to an opportunity on AMC if that 780 to 8 actually holds and we get the break and we get a break off the open at 125 on GameStop. I think you might have a little bit of something to work with there on AMC. The 125 level is the one that I mentioned this morning, sort of saying that it had settled into this little range here, 125 to 130, which would have lent itself to the breakout 130 sort of off the open. You catch a quick little scalp trade there, and then if it had a hard retrace, you'd have like a momentum short, and then the best long. And again, I know some of you guys are like, yeah, don't short the stock, only go long. But look, I'll tell you this: the game plan in the pre-market yesterday that was laid out was, yes, we can take momentum plays, and we had a couple little break long, and then there was a short at 150. But it was really all about if this stock goes limit down multiple times, like it goes one halt down, goes halt down again, it goes halt down again, and then it holds this open price here. This last halt price at like at 113. Sorry. It made a bottom at 100. When it broke back above that 113 range, it was like an all systems go. Okay, punched along 113. I actually got 113.09 as a price. It slips like $6 in the money and then halts to the upside. Even if you just took the reopen price, you're getting out, in the 120. I think it was like a 123, 124 range. It went from there, but after that point, it made a hard floor at that 115 before just continuing to go to the upside. So, it's not, for us, we're going to be short-term day trading. I think I might have had like 40 or 50 executions on GameStop today. So we got to be willing to both play in both directions and have some patience around the levels that we really like. And GameStop right now, it's breaking to the downside. I'm watching 115 if it breaks through there. And I don't like these trades pre-market, but we have about 15 minutes to go. But watch out for this 115 break. 125 is certainly all systems go after the open, though.
Okay, yeah, and the other meme stock there, not on our list, but just not moving as much yesterday, or not as crazy yesterday, although it did have some moves. AMC not getting the love that GameStop is getting, guys. AMC short flow, we talked about that yesterday. It's nowhere near. GameStop was still in the 30s. Rocket, the highest one at 39. AMC, I think it was like 17 or 18. My trade ideas there froze up, so we'll have to get logged back into that one to find out what's going on with that. But AMC, I did give some love here to this play, which was going to be 860. So if we just drop that off right here, 860 was the bottom right there. It was the bottom before we broke it. So a couple times support, and then bang, and then we got to 860 again in the aftermarket before bang, and then we got to 860 again right here this morning before, you guessed it, bang. So we'll go a little bullish here if we can break through AMC. So that's going to be good, guys. We'll wait to see if that can get through there. When we're ready, we got to throw to Valeria because I did want to give a big thank you, but she's going to do it herself. To you, Mr. Russell Jackson. We'll do that in a minute. Thank you for all of the super chats as we see up here, 15, 50, and then we just got another one right here from Noah. We will talk about Square. You got to watch Square with Bitcoin. Valeria, what do you say to Russell?
Hey, yes, I would love to say a big thank you to our friend Russell Jackson for spoiling us with super chats today and saying that you're with us from the beginning until now. You're so supportive. We really love you. And guys, do you know that Russell is now a part of Day Trade the World and he's in process to trade with P-Pro8 platform?
There we go.
He let us know when he got the cube. We're excited for it and very happy for him to join the DTTW, Day Trade the World family there. And Sean, it sort of bears mentioning, of course, and we talked about Rocket a little bit here. And look, we know some of you guys, it's more people that are in here right now, so if we go over things again, we'll get to Square in a second. But I think it is worth going over Rocket just one more time to talk a few levels here, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've already talked about the kind of damage that Rocket's been doing here to the mortgage market, and it's just been big, man. I mean, it's been year over year, big time movements on the upside, 10 times revenue, 10 times net income, big revenue number coming through. The housing rally has helped this out. I've already, if it's your first time here, welcome, but I broke this down to you guys yesterday. I've been talking about Rocket forever. I first thought their first earnings report was supposed to come on the 13th of February. I believe it was the 13th. And then they revised it to yesterday, the 25th. So we've been talking about this for a month. And here's the move, man. I mean, if you just look at a daily chart, and again, this had nothing to do with short squeezes or anything. It just had to do with the fact that the same reason why we picked up Palantir sub 10, right? It's just, it's a new stock. It's a new issue. They based out here. I mean, how good of a base is this at 20, 19, 20? We talked about the JP Morgan base at like 80, 90, 100. I think it was 90 for that one. We talked about DraftKings at 35. And so I talked about Rocket Mortgage here at 19, 20. My average price, because I was buying it around, I mean, I've been buying it forever. So I was buying it here on this 50 period, 21.50 or so. We probably got some 22s in there. Average price around 21.50, 21 and a quarter for myself. So now we're going to the upside. But this is the thing. We don't want to do, like we said, if you're holding the equity, congratulations, because not only do you get this 18% today, but you also get a special one-time dividend of $1.11. So really, if you bought the stock yesterday when we were talking about it at 20 even, it's now, so now you've got $3, so you've got 18% on your initial buy, plus you get that another $1, which is going to be another 5% on top of that, and that's coming in cash money. So that's a nice one. But this is the problem right here, guys, if we just zoom in a little bit. It's this 2350 level. Yep. We're bouncing around there. There's a definite opportunity that if it breaks back to the downside, like I said, I think this is a little over exhausted here today, possibly. I was nowhere thinking that we were going to get 18, 19%, but plus that dividend. So we'll see. It needs to break above 24. It's already done that, but now it's fading back in. So we'll have to wait to see. It could still take off. I mean, it's the largest one. It's the largest imbalance here on the locator for today on the NYSE. We have CCIV that I'm already in. That's coming back as well. Look at the market coming back. Arun was on earlier. We talked about some key levels. So I don't know, man. I'm really surprised. When we logged in, the market was down or down to flat on the day. Now we rip up that 1%, and now we start to pull back in. So I'm very, very cautious of what Rocket could do. I do think that if you are holding any options, probably worth getting some out right away if you can, and if you're in the money, because this could easily fade back, guys, and then we're just trading around this $22 level. So I don't want to jinx it. But we will see. If you ain't in FSR, you're missing out. What's going on with Fisker? I'm long $16 and I got, this whatever. I got out exactly at this level. It was $22.50 the other day, and I was eating pie a little bit when it went up to 24 and change. Still holding 70% though of Fisker. I do like Fisker, guys. I see the chat.
Yeah, and look, when it comes to Rocket, look, there's still some longs that are obviously going to be a little bit underwater with this move, but there is cover. You look 15% to the downside, and there is some cover on that support that it does have. Now, I look at these I got a little line here, and that's just a limit order that I have in. But I look at that previous resistance. The first time we tried to get through like 22.75, so it couldn't get through that 23.50 to 24 with any sort of gusto. It came right back down after one day above. I like that as a bit of a dip opportunity here. So if we do get a sell-off, and it's kind of rolling over into the open here on Rocket, I look at this little support, 22.50. I do have an order at 22.75 to pick some up on the long side just in case. It is first a dip buy. I just want to throw this out there because it's interesting to look at. People have been talking about inflation, and people are talking about the scare that happened overall in U.S. Treasuries. This was crazy, and if you ever see anything like this, you look at the 20-year Treasury here. This was a literal flash crash, and I'm happy that our floor manager Greg over here pointed this one out. I pulled up the chart. And the wick, I didn't see the wick. My chart loaded up, and I just saw, okay, no, what are you talking about? We just went down like 80 cents or so. And then I saw this wick to $2 to the downside. This was like the trigger that really caused a lot of the panic. There was a horrible auction on the 7-year, and then you saw just incredible selling, which was literally a flash crash. And what I mean by that is it spends zero time down there. Pops to the bottom and then comes right back up. There was also a flush into the close through that same price, but this is the fear that everyone's sort of talking about. In terms of, are we afraid of inflation? Is this all about inflation, with the yield curve moving to the upside, or is it more about the positive recovery? And if you look at what's happening in tech, it feels like the inflation thing, but the Fed's going to keep it going until like 2023. The word I will watch for every time they open their mouths for the rest of the year is taper. Do they taper their bond purchasing? That's probably the only thing they will do this year, in my humble opinion. I know that's macro stuff, but got to get at least a little bit of it in here because it is moving the overall market.
All right, want to make sure we get to Twitter. Let's quickly have a look at Workhorse Group, guys. Big pop in the afternoon yesterday on reports. It wasn't even a confirmed report that House Democrats might move to block the contract with Oshkosh and the USPS. So huge pop to the upside for Workhorse late in the day yesterday. OSK to the downside.
It actually was halted there. This is when you and I were watching this, Brendan, when it was happening, and you said even like, oh, there goes Workhorse. I was like, oh yeah, whatever. But I didn't realize that this is what was happening. And again, it's just a second day move or third day move. I don't even know how many days it is here on a rumor that I think is probably false. I don't know if it was. I missed what you just said there, if it was confirmed or not. But I mean, whatever, whether or not it's confirmed or not, it was one member, I guess, of the Democratic Party's talking about, wow, there goes Bitcoin trying to go now as well. So we got to look at Square a little bit. But Workhorse takes out that 16 right here and then just rips up, halts up to 1980, now all the way back down. So if there is, so sometimes when you say there's smoke, there's fire. So we'll see. But, you know, OSK right now, obviously the company that got the contract, let's go NY. Remember, today is also a rebalancing day, so there could be some action here off the open as well. It doesn't look like it for right now. But this is what happened to OSK yesterday, 111 down to 107. So they kind of think it's a nothing burger, that OSK is going to get that contract. I guess it's already been awarded, I think. So we will wait to see if that gets canceled. But nothing for Oshkosh, so I'm going to say it's a nothing for... Okay, now I have to go back to Workhorse. It's not loading once. There it is. Nope, that's not it. So I'm going to say for Workhorse here today, guys, as my chart looks like it's frozen, I would say just go short only. I don't think there's much to that rumor.
Like 17 even, so to jump in on there, Sean, like post that halt in the afternoon, post market, you did have like a 17-13 floor. I look at this, I mean, it's 17 even, sticking out like a sore thumb in the pre-market. And I know I usually look at halt prices, so I can't ignore 17.50, but 17 even to the short side for me on Workhorse.
Guys, the next one, lots of people talking about it, so let's discuss Twitter here. They're going to launch a paid super follows subscription-based model. So I guess suppliers or you know, anyone you want to follow that has a premium kind of feed, you can now pay them to get their information from them. This has not launched yet, but soon to come from Twitter.
And it's good. Look, ultimately, Twitter has to monetize, and it's the one criticism that, well, it's the biggest criticism that they've usually basically had, is sort of lagging behind the other companies, is to find ways to monetize. Now, obviously, you're going to have a little bit more. This is a 1-minute chart, so you can see the action of yesterday in perspective. You're going to have a little bit more of a range than you're used to with 4 minutes to go here, but there's some obvious levels to creep up in the afternoon. You did have a 77.50 top here on Twitter. That looks pretty good to go for a bit of a breakout style trade. It might not be the #1 on my list because you know, right now Workhorse, Dash, Virgin Galactic, I'm watching GameStop here, and at the same time AMC. So those are the 5 that from 9 to 9:30 you're gonna probably take up my attention, and any more than that it gets a little bit crazy in that 9:30 rush, especially because as Sean already mentioned, you know, this is month end, this is options expiration. I know the imbalance locator didn't look big, but usually we'll see more volatility in those first few minutes. So you want to be very, very careful with your entry points. And usually I would have maybe 1 or 2 stop orders, but I actually have 3 going to the open, Workhorse, Space, and Dash, and that's not even including GameStop.
Okay, so I just want to talk about Beyond Meat quickly here. Big deal yesterday. We talked about that again on our list, and we talked about that earlier with McDonald's. The PLT going to be a thing, it looks like. Plant, lettuce, tomato. Also, apparently a deal with Yum Brands as well. You can read through the report. Beyond Meat, if it holds this 145, that's absolutely fantastic. I'm more looking at a minute chart here for Beyond Meat. I like a 156 break. It tried already, only got as high as 69. So we'll wait, 156.69. We'll wait to see if that happens. And then right down here, 148. That's going to be my pain tolerance level to know that we're wrong. So I'm going to be trying to go long throughout. Like what we are already, I have 3 bids layered already. 51, 50, 49. We'll just layer them in there. We'll see if we can get filled on the way down. And then if we happen to get filled on the way down, it could be a slippery one. So we're going to have to wait to see on a 148 break there. But that's Beyond Meat, looking like it's going to be an interesting trade here. Through 148 is the resistance spot. The only trade I have on right now is CCIV, and that's right back up. Oh, don't tell me my chart again. Right back up to the upside. So a 50-cent win right now for CCIV, and we're going to go 1 for 1 here, hopefully, in the pre-market. And no targets. I'm waiting for a 32 break, and then we'll see about higher through that, guys. There's Beyond Meat. Sorry, just got into Beyond Meat, Brendan, but take it over. It just broke 157.
Yeah, 2 minutes to go. Real quick, guys. Armstrong Flooring, AFI, a little one that's up in the pre-market this morning. They sold their manufacturing facility in California. That's really the only news I saw. 550, 560 corresponds with this high on the daily chart. This high on the daily chart from a couple of months back. So 550, 560, held $5 on that first move to the downside. So kind of stuck in a range here right now for AFI, guys.
Yeah, AFI stuck in a range. Workhorse just broke 17, so I did get that one to the short side. Got 99s in there. Remember that 1750 level that we're going to be watching, and also heading down. Here comes Virgin Galactic heading towards that 35.5. So this is that low of the day. It's actually 35. 60s, 69 I think is the actual price. Interesting number. But 35.50 is the break that I'm going to like a little bit better. We have about a minute 1 minute until the open here, guys, and a lot of names that we're going to be watching. I'm probably going to have my level 2 set on the GameStop because you got to watch this 115. Of course, I like a 125 break as well, which we've mentioned. Ms. V is going to be doing the bell today. She will be doing it in blonde hair, but if she does the bell on Monday, it will be in pink, and you might see me with no hair at all. Make sure, take a second to hit that like button. Just because we got to 5 or 6 yesterday doesn't mean we shouldn't aim for that every single morning. Don't forget, DoorDash is the other stock which I might get in off the open. Looking for that 151 is a bit of a sell. Oh, there we go. Nice. Already in the money, like 10, 15 pennies on that workhorse. I'll throw a bid in front of 1660 or so just to get the first quarter out.
All right, guys, with only 20 seconds to go, we're going to wait to see what happens here. We have an 80-cent win right now. That's what it is on CCIV. We're going to let this one go. I mean, look at this big trade here on CCIV, 80, 90 cents and pushing higher. We're going to watch Rocket to try to take out the top here. Almost Valeria. Right now. There it is. And then we're going to watch Palantir to see what Palantir wants to do at the high side as well through this 24.50. So a couple names that we're going to have on our watch today here, guys, including AMC as well.
Yeah, and immediately already pushing back to the upside a little bit is going to be, what is it? Yeah, there's Workhorse, but Virgin Galactic takes out the bottom. And this is what, oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. Give me a second here. That didn't break. I got a bad trigger. So 35.50, I'm saying, how am I short 36? No, 35.50. Looks like there was one bad print. I got short above the price, which obviously means it didn't really break. But watch out, heading to the upside potentially is GameStop here. So first look, 120, that 125 break I want to have.
Yep, okay, and this is why we're going to check out Palantir, looking for 24.50 to come off there. And then Rocket, I think, was heading, back down. So 23 and change. This is what we talked about, guys. It made that move to 24. Now it's coming back in. This could be a good opportunity to buy. It's at this VWAP, but I'm just a little nervous. I think that's a big move there. They have that $1.10, and yeah, we're putting that in our pocket, but it looks like right now it's trying to go. We got to get long if it goes back above 23.50, guys, for Rocket.
And there we go, right in 125, right into that 130 level. Immediately, we'll go to the moon. I don't know why I'm on that page. I meant to hit the floss, but I hit the wrong one. Apologies for that, Russell. But right into that 130 range.
Go
125 break works perfectly on GameStop. Now watch for a 130. If it fails to get through 130, the reversal could be an interesting one. That's exactly what happened yesterday.
Let's go, $3. Can we get $3 winner here on Beyond Meat? Where am I offering? Bang! There it is, a nice little $3 winner for you. Hit the cowbell. $3. It's $5 now. It's $6 now. 156 break on Beyond Meat, guys. That's what we're talking about. Look what's the #1 name here on the sticky note. You like that one? Beyond Meat, right there, 156. Let's go. We take that trade. Now we're $6 in the money. And Rip City for Beyond Meat right here. We're already, there's our day right there. Whatever.
Oh, wow.
It's 9:31 and we're still rocking and rolling here. Let's go to the moon here, Beyond Meat. Great look there, 163, guys.
130 break on was right to 132, 133 on GameStop. So there's no stopping it. If you took the 125, I told you I'll scalp that trade all day long. I tried to get back in at 130 because that's my style. Try to take both those trades instead of just one. But now that initial break is $10 in the money. If you go back to yesterday's action just quickly, if it got to like a 145, 150, that was a bit of a line in the sand. Dip buy here on Rocket between that 22.75, guys. That's what it's all about. So it's coming back in. If we can hold this, a good place to pick up a consolidation. But GameStop looking like it's failing back below that 130. I want to see that next level. If it tests and if it halts to the downside, that's going to be a huge cue to catch a bit of a long after successive halts down. Brandon?
Yep. Another one that reported here, guys, Nikola, bigger loss than expected. They're also talking about an internal investigation that found some statements by former operator Trevor Milton, were inaccurate, according to this report. So just breaking pre-market lows here for Nikola, guys.
Inaccurate.
Yeah, I'd say surprise, surprise on that one. Trevor Milton was pretty sketchy there on some of his ideas.
Never.
So, yeah, now we're going. Okay, yeah, exactly. Beyond Meat does go to that 161. We got out some at 160. Now we're holding the bag a little bit. Let's see if it can start to go back to the upside. We got out of half there. We didn't get out of the rest. 163 was definitely something that, oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. Right there to yesterday. Oh, man, go back to past resistance and see, guys. 163. That was a good trade there to get some out. We should have noted that for you guys instead of, just celebrating this $6, $5 win. It does pull back. We're still $3 in the money, though, on that one. And then we'll check back on Rocket. Not doing a whole hell of a lot right now, I don't think. Anyways, 22.70 heading to the the downside comes Rocket Mortgage. Let's just see if it goes, man. I like a breakthrough. I mean, I was waiting for 50 to come again, and if it does, that'd be great. But you do have a dip buy area right now, 75, 80.
Yeah, right there.
Maybe a breakthrough, 23.2.
Yeah, that's where I got it, right at 76 here. But I got to go to Virgin Galactic just to show you guys. And this will, if you ever get a trade that you don't want. Now, if I get filled at 36, when it's literally traded, when I'm doing a 35.50 break, it's physically impossible unless it didn't get to that price. So you just get out of it. That's not the way that I wanted to enter the trade off of the open. And you're going to see it test towards that 38 level of yours, Sean. But I got to go back over to GameStop for a quick second here. I'll give Rocket to at least 22, like 50, maybe even 40. But GameStop is coming back towards, and it just broke that 125. If it breaks 115, I'll have to try a momentum short through there, and I'll be in and out of that one quickly. But you have to watch out for a trade halt into that. It's gone up to 135. That would be a $20 move in just a couple of minutes. So do be careful. You don't want to get caught in a halt unless that's part of your plan.
Yep, exactly. Thank you for all the new memberships and the super chats. Thank you again for Russell for that. Thank you so much for Howie Dick for that $10. And thank you for Mitch Plummer as well. Howie Dick and Mitch Plummer, interesting characters we have here. Okay, Rocket
awesome.
breaks back above 23, so we got into a little long here. We'll get this out at 23.50 if we can. And here it goes to the upside. A nice little trade on Rocket. I was going to say, let's try to average into this Beyond Meat, but it's just right back to where we were. So I do already have some bids downside here. So we'll put another one at 154 and see what the damage can be done here with Beyond Meat to the downside. Brendo?
All right, so this is different for the week anyways. We're starting to see some strength in semiconductors, guys. We've had quite a negative week for this group, but 2.5% already, straight higher since the open for AMD.
Yeah, that'll work out. I'm gonna check. I'll check on NVIDIA in just a quick second here, but first level in front of 23. Get a little bit out. It also happens to be VWAP in a 1 minute, but it's the 23 level that I like a little bit better. So we did get that dip. We talked about that little cluster on the way back. Showed you the daily chart for Rocket. So that 75 range for the entry. That 50 is a bit of an out. If it can get back up to the quarters, 23 quarters, I would take another leg out and then see if it can't get to 24. There's always other trades who will break out top of day, so we can get back to those and get in and out actively as we can instead of having to hold the whole way. GameStop slowed down, so I don't think, like, now if it were to break that 115, it's not as likely to be in a bit of a halt situation. But you look at this consolidation, I'm not going to take a 130 break. The next time I take this long is probably going to be after a bit of a dip or taking out the high of the day. So I wouldn't take 130 after it. Look, it was good the first time if you had it, but I'm not going to take the 130 break. I'd actually wait for a 135, which is the opening range top.
Okay, so we're looking at some 23, like I was just saying here, for Rocket. We'll see. It does bounce off that view up there, so that was only 23.10, so we're going to have to wait to see. Nice to get that special div today, but it has fallen off from its pre-market highs right now. Okay, now we're getting into something now. Okay, so Beyond Meat, we take that 54 right here, a good little level. Still up big time, man. Remember, their quarter wasn't great. We're not going to die on the sword or anything here with Beyond Meat, so we're not into too many shares. I will add a lot more as we come down. I want to use this 148 as the breaking spot. So we were in the money, $4, $5, $6 on the upside. So that's what I said. We got to be ready to hold some of that. So, here we go. This is the plan. We're into this. Our average price, $154.85. I'm not scared of this trade. Let's wait to see if it comes back down to 148. We'll do some damage on that one. And there goes CCIV. Now $1 in the money. Let's see if it takes out that 32. What's up?
Tom, before we go to Brendan, there's a chance Airbnb could test 200 soon. It got to 199.41. You're not going to believe this. 2 minutes before the market opened, it gave you a shot right at 190 again. So, it is what it is, but watch out for a 200 on Airbnb. Brendan?
We mentioned Foot Locker briefly, guys. Another one that reported here in the pre-market. Big move down on their earnings. Tested 50 there on big volume at the open, but starting to look weak. Just had an alert on Etsy as well to the downside.
Okay, guys, and there's that Rocket. I told you, do not go short on Rocket today. Bang! 40 cents, 50 cents in the money, 60 cents in the money, 70 cents in the money. Where do you want this to go, Randy? How about to space? Let's go. 38.75, a nice little 60-cent win here on... Who told you this? Who gave you this one, guys? $38. Booming to the side. Here we go to the upside. We'll just keep on going. Let's go to the moon. Goes that. We're just laying down the cash right now for us on this name. Space to the upside. CCIV, $1.70 in the money. Now $1.20 in the money on Space. And here we go. Someone's hitting the market there over there. Let's go, Randy. We're long on Virgin Galactic. There it is. The 38 break. You're with me. You're good. Let's go.
Watch out, Brocket just broke 22.50. I don't know why it says I just got out of mine. At 22.50 was going to be my out. So we got profit on the first little bit, but now we're going to have to get out of this trade and wait for the next level down. Now, I think 21 is the actual pre-market low, but I dip into it a little bit earlier than that. All eyes for me are going to be on Airbnb at this point. We're here much faster than anticipated. If it came to 190 again, that'd be fine. We take a look at it. But here comes a 200 level break on Airbnb. And coming back to the upside, GameStop, 130. You can take it if you want. I'm waiting for a 135 break if that takes out that high. I feel at some point that it was gravity around 150. If it gets anywhere close to testing that price, I think it gets to it. So let's look for the 135 break. But here comes 200 on Airbnb.
Okay, and yeah, some bad news here for Beyond Meat as we just continue. This is, I mean, it's bad news because it's going down. Now that we're loaded up, would be nice to grab a rebound right now. So 152.40 we're long. So we're out of the money right now, $2. You know, this is to be expected, like I said. That's why we had, I mean, not to be expected. I wish it was upside still. But we are loaded up right now on Beyond Meat. So let's just, I mean, look at this spread, guys. It's just, they don't know what they want to do with this thing yet. We need to get some real volume into this to try to push this higher. There we go, right back into the money now. And then we take another one out there on space. Bang, bang, bang. 20, 40, 60, 80. Now let's hold our last 20%. We ain't got a loser. We ain't got a loser on that one, as we say, oh, Canada. I don't know why, but we'll do that. Maybe Canada will be one of the first ones. Well, actually, Mars Perseverance. What a great opportunity that was. Okay, Beyond Meat, right back to the upside right now. Coming through. Let's see what happens. 154, 155. We've got on shares, and we're rocking and rolling now.
Oh, I'm going to be annoyed. Missed the 200 break in Airbnb. We're going to have to settle for GameStop, hopefully coming to the upside. If we get any kind of a pullback on Airbnb, we'll try to pick it up closer to VWAP, like a 196, 197. But that break was, if you were able to catch it, crossed up to like 30 or 40, you would have got a quick little dollar. Airbnb has lots of room to still run, but 135 now coming on GameStop. Next trade, guys.
Let's go, futures. Let's go, baby. Now we're loaded up. I mean, I don't know if Randy it just incites this, but right now we are going to the upside. Bang, bang, bang. We take out some profits now on Beyond Meat. Let's just hope it keeps on going. There goes space. 39 high of the day right now. Okay, we'll take that. We'll dump this, guys, if it comes back to 38. I mean, like I said, no winner is going to turn into a loser for me here, hopefully. The only thing that right now we're just really resting on, we've got Rocket. We're hoping that can get back to 22.50. That's kind of another area that I want to go long. We're holding this one. We'll have to get out, man, if this breaks. I mean, I don't want to get out of this one, but if it does break that back down below 21.50, we will get out of Rocket. And then CCIV did go, again, upside big time. We're going to hold that and see what this one wants to do. A nice little 70-cent win for Rocket, $1.50 for Space. What's up, Brendo?
Etsy, again, guys, more volume coming in. We just made another day high there, 231.25. First time it broke 231 was when I mentioned it earlier. We're getting into significant levels over here on the daily chart for Etsy after earnings.
So the first break on GameStop, I mean, whatever, I didn't get it. Airbnb, GameStop, back-to-back. Do give you the quick little trade wins if you're going to take that $1, $2, maybe even $3. But it is still technically a bit of a fail break. If it doesn't go through 140, I will call it a bit of a fail. Watch for a 125 retrace. GameStop certainly looks strong. AMC, I don't know if you're in this one, Sean. But AMC,
just now, yeah.
Sorry, AMC just breaking this little 860 pre-market top, so it's showing a heck of a lot of strength as well. Clearly, there was some support around this, like sort of 845, 850 area pullback range. Watching these two, they're actually a little bit more in step than they were before. Position board is incorrect. I got out of my Rocket, so by the way, I'm not still holding that one, but I am looking for a re-entry on Rocket. I'm not still in that trade, guys. AMC and GameStop both moving together. 125 is the key support level. If GameStop breaks that price and AMC is still above 850, I'd be shorting that. Brendan?
Another tech stock, guys, just popping up here that we haven't been talking about because of this daily chart. Straight southbound for Apple for a week. But yeah, just made a day high. We cleared that last little pivot from yesterday afternoon on Apple, up almost 2%.
Okay, let's go AMC. Okay, so this is what we're in right now. We talked about that 860, and why did we like 860? I mean, I already built that out to you guys. 860, 860, 860, 860, right? So here we go. I mean, if you're not following some of these plays, I hope you will. And, you know, we're not always going to be right, but that was that 860. So it only gave you 10 pennies there. So let's wait to see. We did take out of a little bit, take out a quarter there for those 8 pennies. And then now we'll wait to see how high it wants to fly right now off this long. So we're long at 860 there. So there goes Beyond Meat, man. It just crashed down to 140. Yeah, it breaks 148. So let's see.
No offer below 149, 148.90s.
Yep.
90s is the lowest the offer went. So it broke the bid, but the offer has not trailed below that support. And there was a 148.60 level as well. So when I see that happen, usually
for some reason I got out 147.77.
So what happened is the bid goes below. There were some prints below that price,
close,
but the
man.
offer never actually trailed it. So from what I could see, so I actually just slipped into the long, and then I'm going to give it to the fresh low of the day here, because if the offer is not going to come down, if there aren't sellers below that price when it initially comes in, then it's really just the stops that got triggered. So that's a signal for me to jump in. I just got 148.97 to the long side. I'll take it right to this consolidation range, 152 for a scalp trade. That's the kind of thing we talk about. Reading the tape, risk to reward works for me. Let's see if we can get this one to work here on Beyond Meat. Brendan?
DraftKings, guys. DraftKings going just popped up through that last little pivot from the open. So a nice little look here through 61.5, up 7% now for DraftKings, guys.
And bang for AMC, guys. I mean, if I didn't tell you properly about that level there through 860, I mean, I was saying 860 more than I ever have in my entire life. So there it is, bang, bang, bang. We hold that. We're still big into that one. And yeah, we got effed up there on Beyond Meat on obviously like not a bad trigger, but we used that 148. We should have gone a little bit lower. We would still be fine on that one, but we still have some positions. We're long Beyond Meat right now. $1 in the money on Beyond Meat long, but we did take that bath already. And then AMC out here ahead of 9. I think that's pretty prudent to keep doing that. If we can get more out, that'd be fantastic. There it is, another out there at 88. So now we'll wait to see what it does around 9. But yeah, big day here so far. Rocket, unfortunately, back down to that 22 level. We talked about that in the pre-market, that it wasn't able to hold. And if you go back to the daily charts here on Rocket Mortgage, you'll see, or Rocket Companies, I guess, you'll see that this level right there was a level of concern. 2450, 2450, 2450, and then today's high 2450 again. So that was a little bit of a problem. Rocket fading back in right now. I'm gonna look to pick some more up down here. We're pretty light. I was really waiting for a 2350 break, but that didn't come through. So let's watch out for Rocket now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with little Super Mario charged action there. Look, we try to say as fast as I can what we're seeing, what I was seeing on the tape Beyond Meat. It was a quick little entry at 149. I did just get half out for $1.50. I think as long as we can hold this bottom, and I'm using, this actually ends up being the pre-market low here at 147.75 or ish. So if it breaks that, fine, we'll get out of it. But the next leg up would be this consolidation at 152, which happened on the way down. It also happened in the pre-market earlier. GameStop just came back in. So you're going to see, and again, I mean, I missed the 140 break. Every one of these dollar breaks I'm trying to scalp. Yesterday, I was getting them all. I'm not aggressive enough in my fills. I'm trying to get like 10s, 15s, 25s at the most. Maybe I should cross a little bit deeper into the book. But it is a hard reversal back if it goes through 130. And then I'd be watching, not 115 anymore, now 125 would be that little new floor that I'd be looking for any type of short trade. And AMC following suit. It turned on a dime at 9 even. Man, that 9 was probably a really good short.
Yeah, that's why you got to take those profits, guys. Like we just talked about that on AMC, right? We got some out there 88s. We got some out 90. This is AMC. Oh, this is the daily chart, sorry. We got some out here 94, 92s, 88s, 75s. This is off an 860 long. So you're going to have to watch a little bit of that one, that's for sure. We did average into our Rocket trade, so right there, right where we said we would, at that quarter level. So now we're coming back to the upside. So this is turning right around here to get into a profitable spot for us. All right, we are into Beyond Meat, and we're going to be out of it very, very soon again. It does come back to the downside here. They've just been hitting this stock all morning, guys. We did get an initial break. That was a big win. I have no idea. I mean, I have an idea why it stopped because up here was resistance before, but was not expecting this kind of a move to the downside. So here we go. Beyond Meat looks like it wants to come down. It's not going to be following the futures today as the NASDAQ ripping faces off right now. What's up, Brendo?
Tested day highs here on Workhorse, but big reversal. Speaking of starting to head southbound, Workhorse did get above that 1765, but all the way back down to 1720 here. Break 17. This thing might be in trouble, guys.
So that was it's definitely going to be Workhorse. Just noting here, 125 I was mentioning, but 130 now holding on GameStop. And if that's going to be the case, an 850 hold on AMC is going to make a lot of sense to me. I am watching these two sort of together, trading off of each other, and then watch out. I mean, that 22 right now in Rocket, but 21.25 or 21.50, that pre-market lows look pretty interesting as far as they go. I just started, what did I get there? 64s on AMC as I saw a bit of a turn happening in GameStop well above that 130 range. So I think there's a bit of a retracement coming in. I would also file away. If we're taking out the high and GameStop goes through like a 140 and does test 150, I mean, AMC through 9 is going to be a good break, but I'm starting this one in front of 850.
Yep. Okay, so Beyond Meat does come down. We'll give it one more chance, man. If it breaks above this 147.25, we'll give it one more shot. It's given back absolutely everything. If you go back to yesterday, this is kind of a spot here, maybe, that we could look at. So there we go. We take that long right now. Unbelievable because of the prices here. Like, the spread just opens up too huge, and sometimes you get hit just on the spread alone, guys. So I'll be very, very careful. I should have actually eased into this one instead of just punching the bid there, or sorry, the offer there, because when it opens up, you sort of get screwed a little bit. But that could work both ways. So let's see if Beyond Meat can't go back upside. Now we are long once again right here, but it's not looking great, guys. The spread opens up a hell of a lot on this stock.
Yeah, and here comes that 850. That's what I want to give AMC to, and probably no further. Also going to note that, and Brendan mentioned this stock already, so you guys should be familiar, that LIXT. I'm not going to go to the chart because I'm just getting into more shares of AMC, so I got my price to like 60s, 59. I wanted to risk about 10 pennies in slippage, so that's what we got here in front of 850. But LIXT, if it breaks 6 even, I am going short through that one, just hadn't mentioned it yet.
All right, AMC, yeah, so AMC we're still long. I mean, right now we're only long everything, so that's not going to be a good sign when the market is making these kind of moves, right? So you got to be very, very careful here. Thank you, Russell Jackson, again. We need a mushroom popping above Neil's head. Oh yeah, for the Mario thing. That's a good idea.
That's a good one.
Brendo.
Yeah, one sec, guys. We were just talking with Valeria. Vuzix, V-U-Z-I, big move, 6% today. Just checking on news on this one, but volume, the story here, more than the actual range, but big volume through 19 there on V-U-Z-I.
Yeah, so I'll answer your question, Carlos. Just the one time. I mean, a lot of times if I have a risk profile for a trade where it's like I want to risk 10, 15 cents in that range, I might start to position a little bit earlier just to make sure I have a piece. But overall, I'm going to get to the price that I want because it's part of the plan. So I'm not getting any more shares here. I just got what I want now in front of it. That LIXT that I had just mentioned, I wanted to make sure you guys knew. This was like this little double bottom, opening range low here at $6. Obviously, I wish I still had this. That stinks, but look, I had this at 9 o'clock. When the volume comes in at 9 sometimes and you're short, I don't want to hold to the top of the range. I should have gotten back in this consolidation, but that's an old trade, guys. If we get down to about 540 to 550, I would definitely be taking some profit off on this one. But LIXT looking pretty good, at least in the short term. AMC holding basically flat at that 860 range, and GameStop still holding above 130, so that's a decent sign.
Yep, okay, good stuff there. What just happened there? I don't know. Beyond Meat there, I guess, did it go down and we got out there? Was that? I don't know what happened there on Beyond Meat. The same thing happened again on Beyond Meat. We played that very bottom, and now it rips up. F off. Beyond Meat there. It does do that move. We did get some out for profit. Our last little bit was profitable, but we should still have it on there. The spread is huge on this name. Like, as if, like, how did we even get out there on that breakthrough 145? I had lower than that as well. Darn it, Beyond Meat just moving around a lot here, and we keep getting the bottom wicks of a lot of these trades. So not a great move here for Beyond Meat for me today, but I do want to get back in at these levels. What's up, V, at the screen?
Hey guys, BioNano is the name from the chat for you. BNGO is trading on high volume, guys.
Bingo was his name. This is, it's weird. I have like a little gap in my chart. It'll probably fill in there. But I was watching this like 10, 20 level to see if it could hold, and it didn't. I always like these sort of pullback prices from the opening range to see if they hold. Now, obviously, one has not. The second one will be like a 990 on BNGO, and that's a stock that I've resisted. You guys have probably been following along when I've resisted going short on this one ever since it had like one. There was a reversal off the top, which I think that day I was involved, but it's got such a strong trend, and it's sort of been waiting for the day that it actually pulls into like 8 or 9. We're not there yet, but I still have like a when is this going to stop? This little multi-day fall that it has, and then can I catch a bit of a bounce here? So I don't know if today's the day, but it looks strong on pre-market, and I want to see if it can finally hold a level like this 990. I got that AMC, which is not going yet, but GameStop's going to go back through 135. I said I wasn't averaging in, but if we break 135 in GameStop, I'll probably cancel my stop on AMC and then try to take more long if that's the case. Brendan?
Microvision down again today, guys. We mentioned there was 2, I think, or maybe even 3 offerings this week from MVIS after this big move to the upside. We tested basically where it closed yesterday, but coming down in a hurry from Microvision.
Where is that?
Okay, we're just looking at some more Beyond Meat here as we get more into that name. Okay, now Rocket. Hello, Rocket. Back to the upside. So we'll get some out if we can. We're back into the money now off of a couple. I mean, we just averaged in here. It's nothing special. Averaging off that 22 bottom. It does go back to 70s there. So let's see if we can get some out. Still a nice little win for us here today. I guess the best calls to get were $22 calls. So if you got those yesterday, then you're nicely in the money now. I think someone mentioned how much those cost. It wasn't overly huge. On that premium. So now we're up to the upside here. Let's see. I'm trying to get some out ahead of that 75. That's right where we tipped off there. So there we go. So out some there, I believe. Yes, out. Nice out there on that call. So now we'll wait to see. But look at the futures, man, coming all the way back down. We got out of our Beyond Meat, out of our AMC trade there as it breaks down below back through VWAP. I thought VWAP was 50 there. We got out at 38. So not sure again. There might be a lot of slippage here today, needless to say. And Rocket just bouncing around again. It gets to that 75. We get a piece out. Now it's falling back down. Watch these futures though, man. If they go, we could get into something.
Yeah, I just had a decent fill. I want to say when 50s broke, I managed to get 48s there on AMC, and GameStop trying to test that 130. So it's still holding that range. DoorDash, wow, made a big move to the upside. I wasn't necessarily bullish on this name, so no long break for me. But immediately coming right back in to this 160. I'd like to see it not break 160, but actually break 159. But I wanted to be short this name today. Now I want to see if I can jump into it on a 159 break, specifically CCIV Churchill. I was looking at Airbnb pulling back to like that 190 level. That might be next, but Churchill, look at this ramp from like a 2880 or so, 2885. If this is going to hold that price, this could be an interesting bottom. But first things first. There was another level when we talked about these dip prices on the way up, 2940 to 2950, where it happens to be right now, will be my first step. But really, this long I want to build before 2880 or so, not the low of the day. So I'm going to have to start a little bit earlier than normal. But the thing about Churchill is I know it's $30. You say $1 on $30 stock. Yeah, but this is how volatile it is. Was it crazy if we see 35 on Churchill? No, not at all. So you start to expand. Every stock has relative amount of risk, and the average daily ranges are going to be different. Now that's why you have to give Churchill more room than you might give an average $30 stock, not the ones coming to mind right here. Brendan?
Another earnings name, WW International, formerly Weight Watchers, up this morning, guys. They reported as well aftermarket yesterday. Actually was kind of iffy as far as the earnings were concerned, but just breaking through 28 on decent volume for WW.
I mean, I don't think this market, it doesn't look like this market wants to come back anytime soon here, guys. We're just piecing out some of our Beyond Meat now. Yeah, there it goes. I mean, it's going to drop down. We don't want to get filled out through 145. But the spread right now, just to let you guys know, like, I really misplayed this because the spread is $1.50 right now on Beyond Meat, right? So, I mean, that's crazy talk. For me anyways, with the kind of shares that you're using. That's what's happened to me. Like we just gotten basically the absolute worst prices, but I can't let them slip because if you miss an out, then I mean that $1.50 will work against you the other way, right? So you got to sort of watch out for that. The market falling down is not helping any of my longs. That's obvious. So we got to be very, very careful here with some of these long trades. They're not working out today. Look at the futures, guys. Someone brought up that 13,000 level, and yeah, that cracked on the NASDAQ right there. So we did have a nice move up, but look at this. I mean, no longs are going to win today, unfortunately. If you have one, let me know. But, you know, if it was working temporarily because right now we're just tanking here on the NASDAQ. But once it does get some legs, maybe we can get some juice to the upside. And if we do that, then I think an Apple, like Brendan was talking about, or a NVIDIA, AMD, something like that, that's pegged more to the NASDAQ might help it go. But for right now, some of these high-flying names, the growth names, are just getting killed right now. So you got to watch out for that.
Yeah, and the GameStop approaching that 125. So look, if it fails to hold that, I think we could get a little push right into that 115, which was a big level. That was the one off the pre-market. I've got my CCIV position in here, 29.44. You know what? Like. It should be like 15, 20 cents better, but that's sort of splitting hairs. Looks like for now, a little temporary reprieve there on GameStop. It hasn't broken that 125. My order's locked and loaded and ready to go. If it does take out that level, I don't know if we've mentioned Fisker since the open, Sean. But this is another name, and there's a few names that are obviously pulling back that were strong all pre-market. And I would tend to, if you're going to play along, if I'm going to be playing along on one of these names with the market coming down, it's got to be something which showed me a little bit of strength already this morning. That's why sort of jumping into CCIV, which had momentum behind it, and then liking Fisker sort of in and around this like 2150. It's already bounced here once. If it can maybe consolidate, that'll give you a nice little entry point there. But for now, CCIV back in the money here and a bit of an offer there at 29.50, which if it can get through that, I think we could be all systems go. This market is trying to rebound a little bit here. I would definitely start scalping this out in front of 30. Got to take that opportunity, and then VWAP is $1 in the money. But I want to try and hold at least a third of this for the high day.
Yeah, we just got to have our Beyond Meat there. I just see this 145 level right now, so that might be a decent size there, but it hasn't really been too fantastic. I mean, to say the least there, we could easily break that. I don't even know what's going on here with the, there it goes, with the level 2. There we go, I just cleaned it up. Yeah, that 145, there was some size there, so if you're going to do anything, that might be it, but we just got out again. Like, these are all longs and just trying to get this thing to go, but doesn't want to. So Beyond Meat wants to get another fail on the downside there. The spread too big. We get out through 50. Let's see what happens now. If there's a rebound, you can use this 145 as your out, but right now it's not looking great for Beyond Meat because the futures did tick up there and this actually ticked down. So really no great levels here for Beyond Meat, guys. What's up, Brendan?
Hey guys, yeah, 10 o'clock, let's have a look at North American markets. Bit of a mixed showing so far. We've been mentioning, yeah, NASDAQ bouncing back for the first time all week long. We are positive, 0.45, 0.3, depending on whether you're looking at the 100 or the composite. Yeah, everything else, bit of a chop fest so far. The Dow, 0.5% downside. The S&P red, but only just 0.06%. The Russell here, 0.8% to the upside. So small caps again today showing some underlying strength here in Toronto. The TSX 0.6% to the downside. If you're joining us in Brazil, 0.45% higher for the Bovespa. A couple of things from the watch list. Twitter, we were mentioning with some new products coming. 77 was broken at the open there all the way up to 78.5. We're back down to 76, kind of middle of the range. Not a lot of volume so far on Twitter. Was expecting that to be a little bit more exciting. Workhorse, yeah, breaking downside again. 1650 was that support, just let go. Looking very weak here for Workhorse. This level about 15.5 from the pre-market this morning. So a heads up if you're watching Workhorse as well. Moving to the downside, guys, back over to you.
That was a quick in and out of GameStop. And again, if you take breakout trades, you're either, like, I'm always going to get in that first minute. That's why you see me take it off shallow of that high there. And then here, when 125 breaks, it's in, and then it's essentially right out. Now, look, it could go down. I'm not trying to, quote unquote, hold the short. That's the type of thing that either works right away or run to the exits, because I think there could be some slingshot action to the upside at some point rather violently on that particular name. So I'm going to stay away from just sitting there and praying that it's going to go down. That's not going to be the name of the game for me at all here in GameStop. So consider that a fail break at 125. File that one away in terms of a positive for maybe taking a 130 break to the long, because that's been working out. I just got into more shares of this LIXT. It tried to test back up. Now, I took the break at 6. It tried to test back upside, failed, so I just grabbed some more shares at 597. I like the overall weakness. Now, I do have like a first target in and around this like 550 range that you have in the pre-market, so if it gets down there, I'll start taking some out.
I mean, can we start to rally here? Oh, Microsoft, actually, Microsoft is still positive here for sure. Oh, so I said the jinx, guys. Like, I have one negative day in the last 70 trading days, and then I'm blaming it on the smartwatch today. So we'll be back to the big guys on Monday for sure. At the start of a new month, we'll be back to that. So we'll do that. Sometimes, I said you've got to sometimes be a little bit, what's the word, superstitious there. Okay, so Microsoft, 231.50. Yeah, Beyond Meat just, I mean, it just keeps going down. So, I mean, what are we supposed to do? We did get out of that. I'm holding a very, very small piece now of that one to see if it does anything. I don't think it's going to. But Microsoft looks like it could bounce here on any kind of a rally. 230.75 just to find out some levels here. 231.32 maybe on a break to the upside could be a good trade there. And then using this 270, 230.70 maybe as a bottom right here. So let's try to get in. But I mean, look at these futures, man. It's Puke City here today on a Friday, so you definitely got to watch out for that one. Here it comes, straight down to the downside right here. It keeps on going. That is Microsoft. I mean, every stock I think right now falling downside right here.
Yeah, and I just got into Dash at 159. That stock is it's actually falling asleep, which is crazy. I thought there'd be a little bit more momentum into it, but GameStop. And like I told you about how I would trade this in context. Look. Even if it's going to win, that's fine. It's the same way that I'm willing to get out a little bit early. If I'm taking breakout trades, that's a style of trade, and it's not like a support resistance type of thing, then I'm going to get in and out very, very quickly if I can. A watch for 115 if it can turn into some support. That may be your next shot. And also, I liked the plays after the halts to the downside. So if this thing goes limit down, I'm going to back off and allow this one to actually hold a level when it opens back up, whether it's 2 halts, 3 halts, 1 halt. That's going to be the play I look for. And it looks like it might be approaching a bit of a limit down halt. Speaking of limits down, no limit down at LIXT, but it's going to get close to my first bid. Of course it did. Just bounced off my first bid, and I see this guy. Actually, yeah, just to sort of hit that 170, 571. So I was sitting there on the bid at like 67, 68. I was like, whatever, I'll just forget about 4 pennies. Takes them off here in front of that level. Ultimate target would be if it got to the low of the day, 440, but you'll see me throw some bids out just in case it slides down. This one showing me no trouble, LIXT. At least that's working rather nicely. DoorDash is literally not moving since it broke 159. It just has $1 spread at times and going nowhere.
Okay, I'm just putting my earpiece back in. I thought maybe we heard let's go to Brendan, but okay, Microsoft right now, 25 cents in the money. We're playing off that little bottom. If we do get a rally here in the market, maybe this one will finally go for us and we can finally have a winner on board. We did get a nice little trade on space, but here goes Microsoft bouncing off that 230.70 level that we talked about. So a nice little win here as it keeps going to the upside, making a little bit of money back. What's up, Brando?
A little medical company popping up here, XTNT, Extant Medical Holdings. Huge move here to the upside from 220 to 380. There was an offering announced this morning, but not seeing much else. Big volume coming into XTNT.
XTNT.
Yeah, definitely going to have a look at that. I talked about just a couple of minutes ago, Fisker, if it gives some consolidation. Of course, it doesn't even bother to do that. It's just sort of whipsaw action back up. I want some of these to settle down, at least for the long side of the trade. If we can actually settle down and go sideways for a little bit before a ramp, that'll look a heck of a lot better to me. So for now, it's just going to be still hanging on to Dash and LIXT. I want to check back in on GameStop here. I really did think it was sort of headed towards, and again, I told you guys that 115 would be the nice little level to test, and that'd be the next support. But I thought we were heading down into a potential halt. And if I think it's going to go limit down halts, I don't want a long in front of it. Had it broken that level, my entries is waiting for halts. I like that better than just jumping in front of support and resistance on GameStop. So that's going to be a bit of a miss there. I did anticipate it was going to blow through and maybe halts. There's the turn already off 115, right back to that 126 level. Doesn't mean I'm throwing out that level. I still think it's going to be a good one. And the other trade of down halts I think will be good as well if they occur.
So hallelujah for this one. Microsoft, a nice little win for us upside now, so cashing in on that one. We do also have Beyond Meat, still long, 145.19, but obviously we've got hit on that a little bit today. So that's my real only loser today, Beyond Meat. I mean, everything else has been okay. Rocket, yeah, I mean, look, guys, exactly down to $21, $22. Still a win, $10, 10%. We'll take that on earnings. I'm long the equity. It looks like the options might not come through unless you're able to get out. And I said, remember right at the open, I said, guys, you got to get out of some of these options if you did have some. I hope you did. If you didn't, we will wait. I still think that if the market can go, there's a little bit of good news coming, hopefully, for this stock. I'm going to go long through 22.15 if that comes back in. We'll put on a decent position, then use 22 as a bottom again. But right now, it doesn't look good for that name. And watch this market. It's just slippery, man. Like I think Arun was talking about earlier on, is that right now it's just trying to find its legs, trying to figure out what it wants to do. So you got to watch out for that. Like even just this Microsoft trade goes way in the money, and we took it out, so thank God. We still have 20% of it. So, sorry, 40%, 20, 40, 60 there. So still have this on. It's coming near VWAP. This is probably a decent spot to get some out. It'll only be a 50-cent win if we take it out at this VWAP, but I think that's probably worth it. We'll see if we can't play off these bottoms again, but look at the futures, guys, just cracking right back down again. Tried to go, resisted this exact same level again, and now bouncing back.
That's an ominous level. A Tesla is testing its opening
trouble.
Range bottom, 666, believe it or not. Brendan?
Another group, I guess you could call it, moving to the downside here, among the leaders, in fact, as far as weakness is concerned. These Chinese EV makers, guys, pick one. They're all in negative territory. NIO doing a lot of volume, just broke 45 to the downside. XPEV looking very similar, guys.
Yeah, and I promised I would check back in on NVIDIA if my chart would load. This is a bit of, and of course, you've seen the market move down. I just showed you, we're just looking at Tesla and showing that to you guys at those lows. But NVIDIA holding up at least decently. If you remember back into yesterday, I mean, I like a 535, much deeper in pie in the sky if it ever gets there. Certainly the 505 to 510 area looks pretty good. But I just wanted to find something which is showing some relative strength, so that if the market pops back up, we retest that 13,000 and break, where might I want to go? So put NVIDIA maybe in that column. Dash, man, that is really, I thought there'd be more volatility there, but it's basically holding like a 159 bid, and then it can't go above 160. That's entirely too boring. I want to come to this NAK because I had this one of the short side and got burned and didn't go back to it. You should always jump back to names that you were interested in off the levels that you liked, because this would have been an absolute home run if I just jumped back in after 930. The same level I was using, 995 that broke, is the same level that ended up holding. So this is a bit of a lesson to you guys. I'll throw myself in the gates of hell for this. Because anytime you're pre-market trading at the open, when the volume comes in, sometimes the game plan that you had is applicable when real volume starts to jump in, and that's exactly what happened here. But I was too busy looking at the fast movers, which is understandable on a day where GameStop gave you that first breakout that was so good.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to look for a little bit of some Facebook love. Someone just mentioned that Facebook was up. Yeah, it was up today. So up today, so a little stronger than the NASDAQ. But here we come, man, fading right back down again. This market cannot catch love, man. It's back down. So I'm guessing that instead of always looking for these longs on some of this replay, I just remember what happened yesterday. Like on Palantir, I was sitting there in the afternoon, and I actually patiently waited for this bottom. And now we're back to 23. Wow. Come on. Was waiting for this bottom here yesterday, and we actually picked some up on Palantir right here. The same kind of levels that we're at right now. And as the market turned in the afternoon, these stocks were able to go back up. But remember what we said, some of these high growth, longer term story plays just getting hit today. Like you want to go back into those dividend payers. They talked about interest rates. Neil talked about that coming through with the bonds and the yields and everything like that yesterday, the TLT coming off there. So yeah, right now, man, I mean, it's just with a chance of inflation and a chance of higher, like look at that rebound right there, and a chance of higher inflation rates and higher interest rates. Obviously, a lot of these high flying stocks coming back in. That's just how the market works, guys. Yeah, and this time, I get into space when it actually hits 35.50. So before, remember, look, and again, it was you can call it bad if it was a bad little wick. 36. I got 36 on a 35.50 stop break. This time it actually breaks 35.50. Just got that short to the low of the day. I had to do a lot of things before it got there, but that's the difference between if you take a breakdown trade. The entire thing is you want it breaking that level, stopping out some longs. Having lots of orders trigger through, and then you want my execution to be better than most, and that's the idea of the trade. So I'm getting into it right here. I didn't like the way we got into that entry. It has to be on the momentum. I got it when it was basically consolidating, and then one bad wick got me into the trade. That's not how you want to take a momentum breakdown. But now I'm into it. I'll give it back to like 36 because tight stops on breakouts and breakdowns for me. Brenda, what's up, bud?
I was just checking on this KOS. Had a volume alert, guys, go off on KOSS, one that was this week trading with the meme stocks, but just made a day low there. I guess that was the level there. 18 got broken on volume for KOS, guys.
Okay, so on a Palantir, yeah, we'll look at that one. And again, yeah, trade the market. Brendan was mentioning on days like today, that can be definitely plentiful for that. Okay, here's the Palantir daily chart. Oh man, like we are right here. I'm going to be buying some of this after market, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're long into this name, hoping for a rebound, you know, my average price now is 16 because, you know, I've been buying in this area as well. So 22.30, 22.50 coming through. This bottom is 22.50. We could see that hold. Oh man, I don't know. We have a 22.37 or so is the ultimate bottom, but if you come all the way back here, 21. I mean, this is just a nasty day here. There's been no reprieve at all. We had one little bounce there that we took advantage of on Microsoft, but other than that, there's been absolutely nothing here for us today. So watch out, man. The NASDAQ just not giving any love for any of the longs, but Palantir here could be a play off that 22. What did I say? 22.50, and then we do have a bottom even more at 22. I guess that's still the same, 22.37 or so. But wow, any kind of a bounce back, I think Palantir can be in play, but you're going to have to give it at least that 50 cents, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to hit this one beating up on the poo-poo there on LIXT. It's a 596 short. I just got some out for a 40-cent win at 56, but now watching again GameStop back down to this like 115 range. If you can't hold that, there's going to be another momentum play for me, but it'll be just like the 125. I would not expect to hold it very long. It's like an in and out. If it doesn't work right away, I'm getting out. That's a breakdown trade. On this stock, it means very, very quick. Brendan?
Speaking of no bounce, Etsy, we were talking about it looking very, very strong, getting up into significant levels up here after an earnings beat, guys. But yeah, speaking of no bounce whatsoever, straight southbound, 232 down to 208 now for Etsy, looking to break day lows as well.
I mean, that's what we're talking about, man. Like, it's been a fun ride for some of these names here. Like Beyond Meat, just the same kind of, oh, that's still Palantir. Come on, switch over to Beyond Meat. Okay, so we're into Palantir. We talked about that. Beyond Meat, the same kind of thing, man. Touches down to this 142 level, which kind of makes sense. That's where we were yesterday at the close. But I said this, it's very, very hard to trade stocks that have earnings properly because you don't know what kind of momentum there was. Like, we were in $6 in the money here, took out half and then lost it. So we were basically flat. No, we were still up, actually, because we only lost about $1.50 on the downside. But then we've just been going long, 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 long and getting flushed out. I'm going to try one more long through 146.50. If that happens, then we'll get in. But other than that, man, we're going to stay away right here. And then to talk about staying away, we took a break on AMC 860. We talked about that. We cashed out around 9, got out on a VWAP break of 50, and now you're just getting into this pain area of 780 or so. This is where the bottom was in AMC yesterday. So again, if you're looking to pick up some stock, there are some bottoms here. There's a possibility that some of this starts to run here, especially with the NASDAQ moving. So you can pick up some bottoms here somewhere.
Yeah, roller coaster here on Virgin Galactic, 25.50. I'm able to get out some in front of 35.50, and then it goes right back through like 36, like immediately. So it's one of those where essentially a flat trade ends up happening for you. There was an accidental long because I didn't adjust my stop. I just paid the spread on that, so it is what it is. I see you guys talking about plug. And this is worth mentioning. And I was there's a lot of these stocks where I was just saying, can we consolidate back at these breakout points and hold? And then that'd be the good place to pick some longs. Now, I know Plug has been getting beaten up, and it's had this multi-day, that's just so you can see here, multi-day, almost a couple of weeks, move to the downside, below the 50 period, cannot seem to find a bit of a bottom. But I always look to these little crazy jump-off points. You look at this 38. It did make that in that crazy flush the other day. We did make a bottom at that 38 level. It is now holding finally higher somewhere and grinding up, and I said it felt strong. Obviously, if I'm going to miss out on a break like this early at 46, which you can catch a quick buck or two on, I'm going to wait for a pullback that I like. I think you use this 44 area as a bit of support. So as much as that was a mixed result on Churchill, like it worked for a bit and then lost on the rest, the same way the space breakdown was, I'm still going to like that setup. If that's the result and it's more or less like a flat trade or a small hit because your first target gets hit and you get stopped out on the rest, that's not a bad result if the setup is a good one for you. And I'd rather be picking a name like this to go long than just picking like a traditional tech name, which might get absolutely wrecked if the market takes another leg down.
All right, so Palantir's trying to work. We did get a little average price there. Again, we took some 97s and 03s, but our average price is 02. So we have more on this break, and then there we go again, 90s. Look, I'm only going to give this one, guys, a 22.50. I'm not just going to keep averaging it into all these longs as the market just keeps on tanking here. I just was wondering if we were going to be getting it. The NASDAQ tried to break through evens there to get back to positive. So it didn't happen. And our Beyond Meat went right back to in the money again for us and still had that same problem here at 146.28. So we're long at 145 here. So it's not like it's horrible. We're down about $1. But yeah, this 146.25 there just failed again. Actually, just failed at 146. So it got into the money about 80 cents for us and then failed again. So the spread here is big on Beyond Meat. And if the market just falls down here, this is a very, 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 very weak name, Brendan.
Big break. Speaking of breaks, on GME there, guys. Day lows on GME. A heads up for GameStop watchers. Dynavax reported earnings this morning. Therapeutics company, better than expected. This one just making a day high here through 980 on volume, 22%. The market can't bounce, guys.
Going to go back to the norm that we try to do here, and it's yeehaw if we come out of a trade. My yeehaw never work? I don't even know if it came up. Apologize if it didn't. So I'll throw a backflip in there. That actually works, and if you see a bald head on that one, you're going to see a bald head on Monday because you got us to that 5,000 likes yesterday. More importantly, you got to 6,000, so Miss V is going to have that pink hair. There was this break at 115. I said this on GameStop. My trades are going to be in and out very quickly. I'm able to get the bottom here at 112 because the second I sensed any bit of a turnaround on my second leg, I just literally removed liquidity. So quick in and out 3 times on GameStop, and it's going to be 2 for 3. And that's the way I want to play this. Unless I see trade halts, I don't want to be necessarily holding into anything. I want to thank everybody for mentioning. We did talk about plug a couple of times here, but I know we got away from it. But I like these names that were already strong all pre-market to catch bounces on. And if we can get to VWAP here, that's already going to give you a nice return. We're sitting about like 60, 70 cents in the money, which is crazy to not take some profit off, which I just did aggressively. So a 70-cent win on the first third of this position. It was like, you like this consolidation off the breakout point. So you had this forming a wedge and then breaking out at the open. Dips back down into this price. The market's trying to turn around. This is a name that made a lot of sense for me on the setup. Like that look. Let's see if we can get 2 VWAP in that 46 for about $1.50 worth of a win, just shy of that, and then maybe hold the rest to see if it can't break through. But without the market's help, it might not give that extension to the high of day, which is why I'm taking profit on the way to VWAP.
Okay, so 145.19, we just cashed out a little bit there on our Beyond Meat trade there. I don't know why didn't that trigger me to get some more? There it is. So for some reason we just got triggered now on that long. Oh man, I don't know, man. I mean, the spread here on Beyond Meat still now 80 to 90 cents, and we just paid way up there, 146.70. That's okay. We did get out a little bit there of the position that we wanted to, so we take about $1.20 there. But the market still needs to go, man. And I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But we are in Beyond Meat right now to the upside. They're trying to give it not too much room now on this trade. We are back into Rocket, long through 22.11. We talked about that kind of a break there. That's where we took it, trying to get some out in the 20s if it can go, which it's going to here a little bit. So again, a profitable trade rate now. We do expect a little bit of a higher move here for Rocket. And then look what's happening right now. $1.05 spread on Beyond Meat. Like, what am I doing even trading this right now? This needs to take full attention, and you can't trade multiple stocks here if you're going to look at Beyond Meat with that kind of a spread, guys. I may just get out of this.
So let's go keeping it real 101 here. Remember that workhorse 17 break? So this is what happened to me. I had a 1750 stop. I'm going to show you guys the chart here if you can in a quick second. It actually ends up coming right back in, but if you hold through my stop, to make like 40 cents? That doesn't make any sense. It actually takes out the high, so no matter what, you're getting burned. It's worth noting it eventually does come in the money for me here, and that goes back to the whole revisit your trade ideas if you can, because a failed breaks through that high. This is exactly what it was. Opening range, pre-market high, that's a failed break. If I just actually jump back in at the price that I like, which was the 17, look at how good it is. There is a bit of a hold up and consolidation for a couple of minutes there at that price, and then you get the real flush. And so that's one thing you should always do. If you're focused on that one stock and that one idea, don't throw away that original price, because usually those levels that you pick, if they tend to be good in the long term, even if it doesn't work once, it can the second time. It is 10:20. Let's go to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, we'll talk about some small caps. I want to start things off with Nikola, though. Not a small cap, but I'm sure at some point it will be in the near term. A couple of levels. This thing's also trading very similar to a small cap today. A couple of levels to be aware of, 1975 and then 20. I was watching from the end of the day yesterday. This was pre-market, so I really wanted this to test up there again to be able to add back into this position. But so weak today. Nikola is just so weak. Can't get out of its own way. Let's see what happens at 18, below 18. 16 maybe for Nikola on the downside. The next one here, LIXT, 690 and then 720. I realized on the way back up here that my level was probably a little bit too tight. So 720 is probably a better level. It ends up turning at that point. So I did stop out of a little bit there. Immediately put it back on when I realized that. So we're just kind of sliding down. 540. I mean, if you're short anything today, you're not wrong, that's for sure. AFI, the one we talked about right at the open. Wow, just breaking back to the upside here on volume if you're watching AFI. There was a clear buyer down here, 490 to 480, buying up shares. Took it back through 5, and here we go. A lot of people getting stopped out, I feel, of shorts on AFI, guys.
I want to do something here. We need to get ready for this one. And look, I actually saw just a second ago we're at like 2,600 likes, which is well on our way to 5,000. I don't think that's going to be the number that we like today. We talked about 6. Forget about it. You know I'm going bald. That's not what it's all about. Miss V over here, Valeria, is going to dye her hair because we got to 6,000, and we're not going to hold her to it, but she even joked around if we got to a higher number at some point, she would go with a bald head. I'm going to say this right now, Miss Valeria, I'm not going to let you do that. I don't think, we're not going to hold you to anything like that, but let's get at this path back to 6,000, because eventually 10K is what it's all about. 5-figure, and I won't say the rest of that, but 5 figures is what it's all about. We got to start hitting 6 first consistently before it happens, though.
Yes, guys, could you please hit thumbs up if you haven't done this yet? I wouldn't go bold for any amount of likes, I guess, but going pink is already kind of something for me. So, guys, if I can color my hair pink, you can click the like button. Back to traders.
I got a bit of a compromise. We're going to go back to trading in a second, but bald cap for the show is not the end of the world because that's easily reversible. Anyways, I'm just going to throw that out there. If we get to 10,000, maybe Ms. V will be okay with wearing a bald cap for an entire show. It's like, well, anyways, I want to get back to BNGO because I wanted this thing to hold that 990 area. You can see that it didn't. Thank you guys so much. Already at 3K, Mr. 3000, rest in peace, Bernie Mac. 990 did not hold on BNGO, and I wish I had had a short sentiment here, and I was thinking shorts in the stock because that's something I would have taken, but I wanted it to hold for the long. Look at this consolidation off of 950. I'm just going to show you, this isn't even a big level. It's not 10 million shares. It's bouncing off a 50,000 share order on BNGO, which is, that's a little thin. Look, on a momentum trade, it's hard for me not to take a 950 break if it goes, but it's certainly worth at least a little bit of a bounce long. Just grab like 51s, 52s, but noting that it's only 50,000 shares. If that was 500,000, I'd say giddy up, 1s and 2s long, take your 10, 15 cents and rinse and repeat, but that's not much size down there. I know it looks really good on the chart for a little scalping down here, but that's not a lot of size for take a bigger position. But I'll take a small one and then have a quick little reversal short side on BNGO.
Okay, so Rocket does break there, and then we get out. So we still have 40% of the trade, but we did get out at 60% upside right there. So that was a good one. I still thought that we could get to VWAP, so we'll wait to see. But I mean, look what happens with the market. Like you finally go long, and then the market gives us a little bit of a winner. And then we did take some off here on Palantir. Buy, 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 out, out, out. So we only trade Palantir once so far today. Bidding here, getting some long, and then getting out. So our best out there was 15s, it looks like, on Palantir. So right now my long O's, 23. So long at 23 now. That was still that price. We've averaged in a couple times here and gotten out to the upside. So not a horrible trade there for Palantir. It's back. We're flat on it right now. Like to get a little longer at some of these wicks down here. Maybe buy some more in the 80s and 90s. Maybe even right here. You know what? I mean, the Nasdaq's looking to take that out. If we take out the bottom again, then obviously the shorts will reign supreme here. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening today. Like Brendan said, if you're short anything today, you were not wrong. So that was a good one. Yeah, Riot and Mara continue to be down today off of Bitcoin being down. So that's just, you know, that's going to how it's trading. That's how it's going to be right. Oh, come on, charts. Riot down 8%, I believe it was. Yeah, 8.73%. Trying to get out of its own way, but the thing is, it will trade, obviously, with Bitcoin. I don't know. I guess Bitcoin, we'll take a quick look here. So this is 8,930. Let's see, what did Bitcoin do earlier on? Yeah, so there's the move up, and then there's the move back down, and here's the consolidation. This is BTC right here, consolidating at 46.5 right now, between 46.4. Yeah, so it's really tight range, $300 range right now.
That's ominous. That's a consolidation on Bitcoin. I'm going to show you the Treasury. I'll show you TLT here. We talked about Treasuries earlier. Look at the consolidation at 140. And then I just saw in the chat, and I don't know who was mentioning it, but I think it was Cincy Video Guru was just talking about the ES if it can't hold 38. You have convergence of levels like this on the instruments that everyone's watching. Look, if they all break to the downside, I mean, I'm holding a plug. Look, that's working, but there goes TLT to the downside. I'm still holding my short in DoorDash and LIXT. I just wish I had something else that I really liked. And I'm very, very thankful that this plug just gave me my second targeted VWAP, because if all of these cannot hold, the S&P, the ES was able to just bounce there off 3,800. I think that's the reprieve I was looking for. But if it breaks back down, and we're still looking rather weak on the treasuries there, and if Bitcoin actually breaks as well, this could be an interesting Friday, and would be that sell side that Brendan keeps talking about. Finally, DoorDash is moving, but $1 in the money on this stock is just not nearly enough, so I'm not celebrating anything yet.
No. Okay, and Facebook, we're going to take a little bit here. So we are a little long on Facebook right now at this level. I still like a 259 break if that can come through. I mean, VWAP's at 258.81 here, but let's pick some up, and then we do have a bottom of 257.50. So this won't be a huge hit if it does hit us at all. But right now, Facebook, yeah. I mean, if the market tanks, we're going to be in trouble. We know that. So we have to wait on Facebook, but 257.50 coming fast. We'll average in one time, and that'll be our out, man. It's resisted that a couple times on a break, and of course, as soon as I get in, here we go. Tank City to the downside here. I'll be wearing the Rolex on Monday, guys. Hopefully, that'll bring us all a little more luck. So here we go, down to 257.60 coming through. We're going to try to see if we can hold that 50 level, guys.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because you talked about superstitions. I only ever wear one watch when I'm trading, and if I don't wear this tag, and I'll tell you the story, guys, at some point, because I'm not even a big watch guy, but a trading friend of mine, it was the first purchase I actually made when I started making any real money on trading, and I'm a very cheap guy, so I don't really spend money on myself. That's why I wear it every single trading day. If I don't, I feel like I would be missing something. Brendan has a little something for us, and this market just broke 3,800, guys, so watch out below.
Yeah, watch out below. DoorDash, another one that hasn't really gone yet, guys. We are down significantly, 5% here, but that last test of 160 failed, so we are heading southbound again through 158 here for DoorDash. Remember, negative earnings for DoorDash as well.
I've only been holding this short for a half an hour. Like, this is, come on, DoorDash. Like, look at this. Look at the failure at 170. Then you get the consolidation around this 160. It just failed at 161. The market just broke down, and it's $1 in the money? Like, really? Wow. I'm like, so maybe the read is a little bit wrong on. I just thought there'd be a lot more weakness here in DoorDash, and I have to maybe think about not giving it back to 162. Like, if in this move to the downside, we're not actually going to give me immediately like $2, $3, test this range down here, then I might have this a little bit wrong, and I should tighten up my stop. So I'm going to move it to 161. I'm not going to be risking 3 or 4. I should only be risking a couple of bucks on this trade. If during this flush, it's not going to go more than a couple of bucks for me.
Okay, so we are reloaded right now. So we have Palantir right now. We just take a decent position on the downside. You can see our average price now, 87. I mean, we're out 10 pennies, but we're not going to let this 50 break. We talked about that. I'll pull up the day chart here for you. This is going to be the last shot. Oops, that's not the day chart. This will be the last shot here for Palantir, 22.50, and it looks like it's coming in. So we'll wait to see if this happens. If we get a big rebound in the NASDAQ or in this market, we just talked about breaking 3,800 on the ES. That's a monster level here, and the NASDAQ just continues to be down. It's not even down that much, 0.45, but it's just about the key levels, man. We're breaking a lot of these stocks giving back, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, like everything giving back today. It hasn't been a great day for us. It looks like I bet you on Monday, man, Rocket's going to be like $24, $25. It's just getting hit today. It's the same thing with DraftKings, right? Like DraftKings today, I think these are all worth picking up. Let me just put it that way. Like, you know, we did have some. Come on, charts, let's go. We did have some bigger moves here in DraftKings today, like including what it was going to be. Like, it was going to be a big day for a lot of these stocks that reported, right? But unfortunately, though, the market right now punishing these high-flying growth stocks today, like a DraftKings, right back down to the downside. Remember, interest rates go up, man. That affects mortgages. That affects a lot of these high-flying stocks, the cost of money. So watch out, man. I mean, DraftKings was up to 63. This is why I feel like we've been wrong on the long today. That's obvious. I mean, we'll see what's been happening here. But as you can see, though, you know, like DraftKings, a great number. It was going upside. It was up like that 3, 4, 5%, and then it just getting hit. Every single time the market tries to go, these stocks try to go with it. But it's hard to fight what's happening right now when everybody is liquidating. So I don't see too many stocks that are up, but I think DraftKings right down here at 58.50 level, that was the bottom yesterday, or sorry, in the pre-market this morning. No, what is this level? Oh, that's yesterday, 754. This morning. Pre-market bottom 58.23 may hold here on DraftKings, guys. What's up, Bren?
I mentioned this one yesterday, guys. Another one moving southbound in a hurry. If I scroll back over, you can see very weak yesterday for Freeport, McMoran, FCX down again today, 6.3%. This thing still has some room down to 32. You know, kind of last levels on the daily chart to look at for FCX. It's 10:30. That means there's 1 hour left in the session over in Europe. Miss B is watching what's going on over there. What's up, Valeria?
Hey Brandon, European markets are negative. Travel operator ING trading in London reported a record full-year operations loss of more than 7 billion euros. Despite that, stock is up more than 3% on the hopes for the relaxation of global travel restrictions. Back to you.
Yeah, there are individual names, guys, that are showing some strength. Basically, anything that has kind of positive news this morning. Otherwise, pretty negative globally at this point, guys.
And there was a BNGO. It broke that 950. Now, remember I said we'll take 51s, 52s long. I'm able to get out. That was no trouble. But then we sent a separate order. Our shorts have to be coded specifically as short sells for compliance reasons. So it's multiple orders to try and get out and then get short, which means I can miss. And I did miss. And the momentum gave you down to 40. So it would have been a great little scalp trade, like maybe 47, 48, 49 if you got it. You're immediately out at like 41, 42. But I did miss that trade, unfortunately. So it is what it is. I try to show you guys everything that happens. Plug in that move down, and now we're bouncing back to 3,800. Plug has managed to hold. So it came back, held 45s. We got in long right here, and it looks like it's going to be a fantastic looking entry, but you saw this consolidation. Even being late to the party, was able to get this like 67 is my second entry price. I'm now holding, and I actually have an order. You can see it's in front of the high of the day. That's probably a little aggressive in this market. I put it in when things looked a lot better. I'd probably look now to get out in between 46.5 and 47 even, as long as we can get crack through VWAP, crack through 46. I'll be looking to take off like probably $1.25, something in that range, instead of like $1.75.
So we get crack-a-lacking to the upside. We take off like 5% there as oh my God, come on, charts. As Palantir does get back going there, we did have 5 cents in the money. Like, who cares? Come on, man. Like, these futures, they tried to go again there, guys. Every single bump up here is like a fade. Like, you know, tried to go here, nope. Tried to go here, nope. Tried to go here, nope. Tried to go again, all the way back down. So again, we probably test this 12,760 here today. And yeah, just right down to the downside. So we think that we got some home runs on board, and then it just happens to fill us back on the downside again. So yeah, not a great day for longs here. Our last long pickup, I mean, we're only long 2287, so it's not worth really crying about, as Palantir goes right back flat again, roughly. So there's still that trade that we're working on. The only real disaster for me today, to be honest with you, as I look down through, we're up on space, Rocket, we're down on Rocket, but we're going to wait to make another play on that one. And then the only one is really Beyond Meat. This is where we're down huge on Beyond Meat today. We thought we could get these prices inside. I mean, just look how choppy this has been, man. So, like, that's a good out there, thank God, because it goes all the way to 143. So we're still holding a small piece. This is not going to make a difference. We've lost too much money on Beyond Meat today.
Just watch out here. AMC's at that 780 mark. It's right at like 82, so I wanted to alert to that because I know I think you were looking at that level. I am as well. It is worth mentioning, if you're watching these stocks together, GameStop is holding that 115. So we are still holding the low, but AMC showed relative weakness at points yesterday's action. So I'm still willing to take this trade, even though we're not breaking the low of the day on GameStop. 780, that's a low right now. It's bounced a couple of times. 81 is the current bottom, and there's no size down here. It's not like it's a big level. What did I get there? Yeah, I actually got 80s. 79.7. I got an average price. Thank you, Dark Pools and Day Trade the World. But let's see if it can go. I have to now watch GameStop, of course, because this cracks like 120, 125. I almost don't care where this is trading. I can't give it too far to the upside here. It's definitely worth it to $8, but if GameStop starts running, I don't think it's worth holding 25 pennies against me if I'm against the grain. And GameStop just took 120, guys. If it marches to 125, you got to watch out.
Yeah, good look there. Bitcoin just rallying right now. So yeah, big time. Really up to big move up in Bitcoin, 46.40 all the way to 47.
I just punched out of AMC. I don't like it now.
Okay, all the way up to 47 and change, so a big runner there. I don't know why I'm on Beyond Meat right now, but that's a Bitcoin we're talking about, making moves to the upside here. Okay, so Palantir's bouncing around, not doing too much. Maybe it can follow suit with Bitcoin and take off. Doesn't look like it. Right now we're flat on this trade, seeing if it can work its way to the high side. Would love to get some out, man, 23.10 and change. We do have orders sitting there, but it just, every move down in the futures is just a nightmare for this stock. So, it's not following suit. Well, it is following suit with the market and just getting hit out of the downside. So we're going to wait for 2250. That's our kill spot for Palantir. And it would be nice if it got going, but it just really doesn't look like it wants to do that, guys. So we're going to have to wait for that 2250 level. I don't know. Is there size there? Let's just scroll down as I scroll. A decent size there on the New York book, but that's not going to matter. 48 million shares today. A small 200,000 is not going to do anything. So we're not using that as support. We're just more using it as a level. So let's see if that does hit and break. But Palantir right now, we're still hoping that we can get back above 23. If it doesn't, that's an easy out for me. 2250 on, again, another failed long.
So Sean, failed break at low of day on AMC. Makes a low at 775, 777, can't go any further. You have GameStop busting back up 120. Anyways, I just reversed into the long on AMC because I've seen this before, and every time I don't make this trade, I do it the other way on a short, right? So if something's breaking that high, it's a similar setup, and then gives a failed break, I'm like, let's just jump into the short. It stopped a bunch of people out. It took out all weak hands, and then some people would have gone short. In the case of a long break, they would have gone long at the top. If someone's short at the bottom here, I'm literally going to be risking 10 to 15 pennies. And then there's a breakout point at 805, let alone just taking 10 to 15 cents worth of profit. You then can hold or maybe add on an 805 breakout. And if GameStop goes to 125, this could be absolutely golden. He said Bitcoin's rallying, 3,800 is trying to come back on the ES. So that's why I grabbed that long at 86 here on AMC. Brendan?
Just a heads up on Carvana, earnings name. Just having a look at Carvana, guys. There was an upgrade on that earlier this week, or sorry, this morning, earlier today, I should say. But also another one that, as you can see, breaking to the downside. So Carvana moving around as well if you need some more weakness. Coming up, guys, just after 11 o'clock, 11:15. Yeah, Red, White, and Bloom back with us from the cannabis space. It's been a great year so far for cannabis names. So we'll hear all about Red, White, and Bloom, what they've been up to of late, and get an update from Red, White, and Bloom, guys, at 11:15.
My house is on fire. My house is not on fire. Anyways, it's just, that's an old one. If you're really, really old, maybe you actually know what that is. But AMC, just try to quickly spit out as fast as I can the logic behind that trade. And I've done it to the short side, not very often to the long side. But immediately, like the second I'm able to get into that, get out of the short, I'm like, don't like it, get into the long. Right here, 94 is able to get some out. I will take some profit, half of it out towards that 805. The reason I want to do that is because if it wants to put in a higher low and then start bouncing off of 80 to 85, I want to take advantage of that and be able to get back into some shares. I also, am willing to get back in on the 805 break, so I can add some back if it does take out 805. So already a quick little win there on AMC, and GameStop still holding above 120. That's another reason I like this trade.
Okay, so Palantir now pushing up a little bit, like we're 10 cents in the money. I can't believe that I'm actually taking this. We have a big size here at 23, don't know. But look at this rebound in the market. I just think that that's, whoopsies, I just think that that's obvious area now to get some out, guys. It just makes a lot of sense to me to get some out here as we're rallying now to the upside. Okay, I do have did I get that? Yes, I got some 08s. So a nice trade, man. We're back from the dead here as we're ripping upside right now on Palantir and the market. So that was a good out there, just where we said we'd like to get some. We didn't get out of that many, but we got out of enough to make it worth our while. So a good little trade there on Palantir. I'm hoping for, anyways, a continuation, more upside for Palantir. Let's go. Hopefully this one can make us a little bit of this money back as it is right now. We're doing pretty good, man. Facebook bounced through 259 as well. We have that, a nice little 50-cent win on Facebook.
Yeah, and there we go. Just got another leg there in front of 8 even on AMC. So very, very quickly, that reversal, that 885 turn where we got 86s long is going to work out nicely for us. I still have, now there's 2 shorts I have on. One of them, of course, being DoorDash. That's the one I think I have to worry about. I tightened up my stop there, so I'm not going to give it as much room. The market's roaring back here. But LIXT, when you're trading some of these smaller caps, I'm not concerned with the market move back to the upside. That doesn't really matter. These types of stocks aren't going to necessarily follow the ES as much as others will. Obviously, that's going to be true. Now, that's why I can hang out in this short, and you're seeing no trouble whatsoever still on those lows. Because we're talking about the market and its current move, let's go right now, perfect timing, to Brendan at the big screen. Let's see Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, a lot of red to talk about. When last we spoke, we were talking about 0.03% We're now at 0.3% for the S&P 500. You can see, we'll start over here. Energy stocks have been strong over the past week or so. Not so much the case today. The entire group really getting hit so far. EOG, Apache, MRO there, 5+% to the downside. So energy stocks among the leaders to the downside. Banks are also weak. It's basically a reversal of what we've seen, from the beginning of the week until now. So we're seeing a lot of selling in the financials, diversified insurance, the individual banks, all in the red. There are, as I mentioned, individual names that are showing relative strength. Etsy, one of those, 7.7% to the upside. ANTM, 2.9% in the healthcare group there. Look at HP, HPQ, 3.2% to the upside today. You can see some of the hardware equipment makers, the semiconductors as well, still strong. I mentioned AMD right off the bat this morning, 1.7%. NVIDIA right below it, 1.5% to the upside. So semis, hardware makers, strong. Salesforce is not strong, 5% to the downside. So the software makers are offsetting some of that strength. CTXS and IBM here. IBM down 2% today. Just notice that one. Material stocks also adding negative pressure today. Mosaic, FCX, and CF. 3.5% to 5.5% negative territory. So as I mentioned, there are kind of individual names here that are strong, but otherwise broad-based selling, as they say, 0.3% for the overall market. Let's go back to Sean.
Okay, so at least Cardano's going up today, up 15%. Nice little 50-cent win right now, and we're taking it off. So, what's been a roller coaster day isn't going to be that bad. Honestly, if you remove Beyond Meat from me today, which you can't do, I'm just talking, I'm positive on the day if I remove Beyond Meat, but that I'm responsible for all the trades. So that's what happens there. Beyond Meat, you can go to hell, but not for my wife. She likes them. Okay, Facebook, here we go, guys. We can finally fire off some hot dog cannons. We talked about 259. I actually have bids downside to get longer down here. We didn't get any. We tried Facebook one time, and now we seek that revenge pretty big time here on Facebook. Now 90 cents in the money. Well, I guess we're long at 10s. Now 90 cents in the money as we break higher on Facebook. So a good little rebound for me here on this name. So really happy with the way that performed as we go to the upside, out 1/3, 2/3, have that 1/3 left here. So big trade. Just took some out in the 20s on Palantir. That's bounced off nicely. And again, this is what I mean. It's not a horrible day for me other than that one stock. Like buy all these buys out for the high side on Palantir. So can't complain there. AMC's been a good one. We don't have the very bottom, but it was good. And then other than that, man, let's just wait to see. I still think Palantir can get to the 40s. If it does, it's not that far away. Right here, it's coming. We'll take out a little bit more, but so far, so good, guys. I'm excited for that red, white, and blue interview as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'll show you right here. AMC, my only excuse is for not getting a few more shares here, back in at 85 like I said I would, is nature happens, guys. So that's why I missed that one. I'm not going to take a fill when I'm not sitting down. It's just going to be the plan of action here. I can go back over to Plug, and I thank you guys so much. This is why I always say it's the best community in the world. Plug on the radar the last few days, but I even said this. It's like I have like 3 stop orders and 5 stocks I was watching at 9:30, and sometimes that means something goes to the wayside. But if you look at these levels that look pretty good at the open, revisit them if you see there's relative strength. And when the market was coming down, some people were talking about Plug, quickly went back to see, oh my goodness, are you really consolidating at 44.65 like this, which is exactly where it jumped off at the open. 68 was the open price. Was literally long at 67. No, I did think there'd be congestion, this little consolidation around 46.50, and I said I'll get out there instead of higher where I originally had my order 70 cents up. But a winner is a winner. It's bottom to top, but it really more has to do with being picky. I mean, the market was weak. This rebound is fantastic, but you had to find something you had some real confidence in. AMC was a bit of a different trade because that was a failed breakdown, and we can talk more about that in the future. But Plug was just an obvious consolidation off a fantastic level, and you can see the result.
Okay, so some downside pickups here. Yes, let's go, man. 70 cents in the money. This is what we're talking about. So we're going to go bang for our trade here on Palantir. A beautiful long. Like, we loaded it up down here. You guys know that. We're long now 71. I talked about that. I don't have a problem giving you guys the good goods when we have them. So there it is. That's the trade on Palantir, and that's Rip City right there. 90 cents now in the money on Facebook as that continues to go higher. My target right here, man, 260.40. So a little bit more we can get out of that one. Big trade on Facebook, guys. And then we're in the game right now. We're into some QuantumScape. So let's give some QuantumScape love if we can get it. We're waiting in the 20s for a little bit. We're long at 55 even for QuantumScape. That has some love back into it. Big dip down. And again, it's just on this market rally, right? We're taking some love. And there we go. Bang, another one, guys. So we slay some dragons here as Facebook gives us that $1.50 win. We were buying. We got out some there. Banging through 259. We targeted that. I gave you that 259 level. It breaks, it hits. We probably should have got this 68 there, but a nice little $1.50 win for that name. And then here goes QS, man. 50 cents in the money on QS. So your boy is back, man. That's the big thing that we're happy about. Let's do some backflips. It's going to be a big day, hopefully, for us. Here it'll end up pretty good. Palantir now. Hello, 80 cents in the money. Right back to VWAP. This is a spot where we take some more out.
Yeah, and speaking of take more out, I did take some more out there on AMC, but I also got the long break at 805, and I mentioned here, look, you could buy it on the dip. Nature called, so I missed that. But we did have 85 at the bottom. 86 was our entry price. It now tries to break this range as well. You can see my average price slide to $8. So you can I still like giving it to that 85 range because the upside is back up to like an 825 for an average out. I think you can get 15s, 20s, 25s, all the way up to like an 845 where you have that chop zone. So an average out on a move like that is going to be around that 825 to 830. So let's see if we can't work into this one. I did mention this, guys, and time and time again that DoorDash was sort of frustrating, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The only good thing about it is I tightened my stop when it felt like it was going to be relatively strong, if you can even say that. As the market slid down, I also could have probably $1 win and gotten out of half the position to lighten the load. I didn't do that, and maybe in the future that would have been a better play, but I tightened the stop to save myself an extra buck, but there's a hit on DoorDash. In the money for a half an hour, but barely. Brendan?
Just a heads up on this one. It's very thin, but Wilscott Mobile Mini Holdings Corporation. Just saw this, WSC, just breaking day highs through 28 there on a huge volume spike. You can see this is also all-time highs for this. Had earnings in the pre-market, guys.
Okay, yeah, so we're just, man, I can't get this QS. Like the spread is big, 17 cents, right? So you got to watch out here for this fading through. That's a stuck bats quote there, I guess, because it's not reflecting, unless that's just an odd lot. Oopsies, there's Palantir. What? Yes, sir. We spin the money for the first time today because Palantir right now, big stock alert for us here, making that money on Palantir so far today. I think this is one of the largest ones for us P&L wise, as Palantir just goes to 67. 64 there, I guess. Big trade. We are long. This is now 81 cents in the money. We just told you we took that big trade here also on Facebook. That was $1.50 there on the last third. So now we're just sort of cruising, man. We'll wait to see if QS can give it to us. But other than that, this is what we're doing, making that cash for you. And hopefully it's been a good second half of the show. The only stock, I mean, I'm not negative on many stocks today, man. It's just Beyond Meat right here. Lost way too much money on this name. I'd be hella positive if not, but whatever. Take responsibility, man. We tried Beyond Meat in here, and we missed it there. Okay, Brendan, Neil, and Sean, your insight. Thank you so much here, Russell, for that, guys. Your insight and stock choice always prevails. Throw some bacon on the Barbie. Yeah, we'll throw some bacon on the Barbie. Maybe mix it in. We don't have any bacon graphics there, but there you go. Put some bacon on your hot dogs there, Russell. We know that you're the bacon man, so good job, Russell.
I don't care what you put bacon on. It's just good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Maybe if you stay at an Airbnb, you can get bacon. I don't know. That's a horrible transition. But Airbnb is back up it's heading back up towards 200. This is the chart I was on. I tried to make a segue to it and failed miserably. There was a failed break through this price once. It's a 202 high of day. So I wouldn't look at a 200 break. That seemed a little bit too crazy. The other thing is the market. I mean, it's trying to come back up, but we're not testing those highs again. So I'd be a little bit too afraid of a rollover to take this through a 200 break. But let's watch out for that 202. I heard a Kevin Bacon reference. I don't know. I guess I could have tried that. AMC is consolidating is what I should say, because stalling would be a sort of sliding back into like a 795. Consolidating off that 805. You can kind of see I have a bunch of orders into VWAP. Not putting any on the north side yet because I feel like if it breaks through 830, I don't want to shortchange it. I'd probably look to get some out wherever it slows down. And reading the tape is going to be my guide. So I'm going to have to dedicate a level 2 to be watching that in particular. Now, oddly enough, I know early success, of course, on GameStop. And this is what I got into trouble yesterday on GameStop all of my best trades were like bang, bang, bang off of the open and some of those halts and those quick little breakout style trades, not really holding anything too long. And then I started over trading it. So that's what I wanted to avoid today. That's why you only really see 3 trades and 2 for 3, and all of them very, very short duration, knowing the level that I like. But let's go back to that 115 area that held once. The breakout was a bit of a fail break unless you were very, very fast. It's now holding above that at 117. So this is about the time of day where holding this a higher low got a bit of a ramp on GameStop. So it's setting up for another test of like this 127 area or possibly a 130 break that I like. For now, let's go over to Brendan. Let's see how the world of crypto and currencies are going. Money call.
Hey guys, yeah, big bounce in the US dollar today. So strength coming back into the US dollar means pretty big moves here at the top end of the board. We'll start with the euro down 0.4%, Canadian dollar down 0.5%. We did, I mentioned yesterday, get above that 80-cent level for the first time in 3 years for the Canadian dollar, but back towards 79, 78.9 right now for the CAD. British pound 140-ish, 139.5, down 0.4% as well. You can see Japanese yen, Swiss franc both higher, a little bit more volatility coming back into play once again today. The Swiss franc was negative earlier and has gotten back to that 0.2% mark. Australia and New Zealand, 1 full percent plus moves on the day to the downside. You can see the Turkish lira, same story to the positive side. We also have Bitcoin back in the red as well. We were down significantly more than this, 4 or 5% at one point. So it is moving back to the upside. 47,704 at the moment. 15,000 or 1,500, I should say, 30 for Ethereum, up 0.8% on the day. Guys, back over to you.
Okay. I just wanted to give, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to hit number 1 here coming up. Hopefully this is the interview, guys. Coming up. There it is. Red, White, and Balloon. Brad Rogers, Chairman and CEO, has been on the show before. Is coming back today. Talking about Red, White, and Bloom. So you guys can definitely check that out. Google their symbol. We'll have that for you when we get back. Rocket, you know, finally getting back here. So a nice little trade here. Again, you know what? I mean, off the bottom there, that was a good pickup. Dropped it off. So we're basically flat on the trade for Rocket today. But this is a good move for us because we were holding this stock. And it's been a nice little move to the upside here for Rocket, that 13.5%. So congratulations now, anybody holding this long. There's some great longs off the bottom, 22 and change. I think we picked the right one, though, man, because we got Palantir long. And I mean, this was a great trade, 22.70. We're $1 now in the money, or 80-90 cents in the money on this one, plus all of these pickups as well. It's always nice when you never sell below where you buy, right? So unlike some of the other stocks I've been trading today, Palantir, man, just go back to what makes you that money, including Microsoft. Look at these Microsoft longs right here, in and then out of our last 20% right there. Microsoft does dip to 229, now taking out new highs. Facebook also was a great trade. Oh my God, long through 259. That's a $2 winner now. Hold on to some of those, my friend. Okay, Palantir, I have an order right now to get out in the 60s. So maybe I'll just switch that and take some out right now as we get up to 55 as the NASDAQ bouncing now up that 1%. So hallelujah on that one. QS, we have an order to get out of this one as well in the 40s. So just a little more bumpage here and we'll get some of these out, guys.
Yes, sir. We'll go with, I don't know, we call it the Wiz. Usually this is your stock, right? So that's what I'm gonna use that one for you here, Sean. AMC. I know I've been trading GameStop, but AMC, fantastic little bottom there. And again, it's easier to see a failed breakdown short if you're in the short, which I was, which is one of the reasons why I was sort of rather eager to get the reversal to the long side. It just finally started the breakout, so I did get some shares out there on the way to that 10-15 area. I am more around the 20, more around that VWAP, like 27, 28. That should be about half the position, and then we can try to work it a little bit higher than that. I am watching GameStop still. I'm not in it yet, but like I said, this was around the time it made a bit of a bottom, so if it does ramp up and I miss that breakout long, at least I'll be holding AMC, which is very, very likely to go with it. So that's another reason why we had it. I did try this little pickup here early, so I started off with a hit, but a tight stop is what saves you on moves like this, and the GameStop was breaking to the downside when that happened. From that name into one that, I know we talked about this, and I'm going to get wicked out. If I'm trading a stock off a level consolidation like this on BNGO, and it's the same thing on Plug. Like Plug had the same sort of consolidation and then broke up and gave a huge win, went to the highs of the day. BNGO, similar thing, but I'm risking 2 or 3 cents. It breaks down, I'm just out. Now, much like AMC, there was probably a chance to make that same move, but it didn't happen as fast. So when it did consolidate lower, I had to be here like 5-6 minutes later, and it's going to give you that same look. So yes, that's a very, very similar setup to AMC. AMC's done 60 million shares. Plug has done 13 million. Sorry, BNGO has done 13 million, and AMC has been the better day trading stock for me. So much easier and quicker for me to hop into AMC in that reversal than see the same thing in BNGO and want to do it. But very, very similar. And if you were focused on that one and had that short or that failed break, certainly that long reversal quickly worked just as well.
Man, I hate Beyond Meat so much. Okay, QS here, still looking for this one. Oh, I did want to talk about space a little bit here. One of my big stocks today, for sure, space, 20, 40, 60, 80% out, and now we're right back, man. We're down $1 on this name. It's going to break back below, and we're going to get out if it breaks through this 90 level. But it's right here at VWAP, and it's a little interesting to me. So if you did like that, I mean, the report, obviously not great, but not horrible either. I mean, pretty bad, down 12%. But this is not a horrible setup right now. We've consolidated here. My only worry is this is a fantastic short when the market breaks. So I think that you sort of got to make your decision at some point here, what you think of the market, either upside or downside, because if you're going to get into Rocket, I mean, or not Rocket, well, we'll talk about Rocket in a minute, but if you're going to get into space, you have a 37.55. I would rather get in right now, hold it until this break, but that's only 10 cents. And the futures look like they're coming down a little bit here. So this may be a decent break of 36.90 to head it down to 35.90. Like you could get that nice little smooth dollar right here on the downside. If it does break this 36.90, I think it does retrace at least to 36.20, which is 70 cents. So you should be happy to take that. This is me, like I'm in the 40s. I won't tell you exactly where, but I'm in the 40s, and I may just have to change this because QS right now, we're only long 55.09. Like I'm just trying to get like, come on, you can't give me 30 cents on this name. You know what? Screw you, QS. I'm canceling. We're going to wait for more upside here, man. Give me this 73 QS. Let's see if that can go. What's up, Brendo?
I was talking about this one earlier, guys. Weight Watchers, or WW International, I should say, formerly Weight Watchers. I mentioned it on this break earlier. Day highs 28.40. Here we go again. More day highs, 29.20 now, up 10.6% after earnings, guys. Note
to self. Take the first break when Brendan mentions it. So look, we're going to be watching 30, obviously. Got a little bit late to that party, but Brendan gives a hot fire. This is one of those things, even though you're going to hear like 20 symbols, you have the watch list, you'll have what we have in our preparation to take. You always nail down the few that you want to have, and we want to make sure we give you as much exposure to what's happening in the market as possible, which means you're going to miss some ones here. But you didn't miss out on formerly Weight Watchers. Look, I'm just going to call it Weight Watchers most of the time, let's be honest about it. But 30 is going to be a big level, obviously, coming up here. And it's not just because it's an even number. It's because there was a failed break the last time it got here. Here's your daily chart. It did go through and then snap back down. Sometimes the second time needs to be the charm. And if that's going to be the case here, you got to watch out for a 30 break, potentially on Weight Watchers. That's what I'm going to say. GameStop, 122. It looks like. And now the reason I'm tracking GameStop while in AMC is they tend to follow each other a little bit. This consolidation and break is what we're looking to see. If that happens, right now we're in the money like 15 pennies or so on AMC. But if we can get this breakout on GameStop, I really do think we're headed to like an 850 on AMC. That's why I'm trying to hold still the bulk of my position when we got into that long, and then added after that little breakthrough $8, guys. So here comes GameStop now. I'm unlikely to add to. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. AMC just hit like 819, 820, got a little more out. And at the same time, if we can catch a 130 break, it'll be a scalp trade on GameStop and a hold up towards that 850 level on AMC.
Okay, yeah, great little trade there on AMC. We've been looking at some other things right now. Okay, we did it. We'll do Superman because you know what, guys? Like as much as I say I hate Beyond Meat, we love some Palantir right now as this is $1 now in the money. Palantir, big bottom feed here, bang, bang, bang. Out a lot here at VWAP, so that's where brings our day, turns it completely around here for me. So that was a nice little move there for Palantir on the backside. So again, it would be a good day. It still is a decent day. We're red today because of that Beyond Meat trade, but that's fine. Space, the final frontier, doing its dance again. We talked about picking a little bit up there if you were bullish on that market, but right now 37.50 looks like a good spot to break higher if it wants to go. I don't know. QS. Oh, man, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't want to break through 50. We're going to hold this, and we're going to get out if it breaks back down below here. But I do think that if, you know, I mean, look at the spread here already, man. Like, these stocks I'm picking today are very dangerous with the spreads. All right, European update with the yellow and ones. Valeria, what's up?
European markets are all in red. Britain is down 2.32%, Germany is down 0.53%, and France is down 1.28%. Teleperformance trading in Paris is up 6.42% after JP Morgan increased its price target following a company's strong earnings report. Back to the traders.
Oh, there we go. This is what I'm talking about. I'm going to go with it's the bear for this stock because as the market rebounded, I did tell you of the shorts that we had on, and it's not true with DoorDash because we took the hit there, but it was certainly true with LIXT as I try and chew and spit that name out. One of the last ones on our watch list, second last. And if you're not getting the watch list, it's because we're going to the website, guys. You got to make the transition. It's free. Take advantage of it. A lot of work goes into it. This was I hate the term easy trade, but if you ever see something like this, all kinds of weakness on a gap up, failure through the high of day in the pre-market, I got worked out of that short. That's why I was on the radar. It then breaks, makes an opening range low in the first 5 minutes, right off of that $6 level, comes right back into that 7, which is another chance you would have had. But when 6 broke, too easy, guys. Still hanging on to it, but it's holding 535. Now, this is ultimately just over 10 cents in the money, or at that 10% move. Which, you know, I like these round arbitrary percent moves. And 10 from a 6 break, obvious. I'm going to get some more out. Hang on to this. I'll give it back to 6 even as a break even. Otherwise, I'm sort of shooting for the last out. If it can make a push through 5, maybe we can get like a 460, 465 in front of this like 7 a.m. ramp up price that it happened to have. Wish I'd gone long when I sat down. That was sort of an easy one, guys.
Yeah, damn it. Yeah, lots happening there. Palantir still watching that one. We're watching Rocket, now 22.50, trying to bounce off there again, 22.70. So we're going to wait for that. Thank you so much to Christopher Chow. You've been also, there goes Palantir, $1 now in the money. So hell yeah for that one. Happy year of the Ox. Been with you guys since the beginning for your fan base growth. Plug. Yeah, you're right about Plug there. Plug's been a big one. Fisker alert. Someone said to me, I don't know where it was, Sean, oh, here it is, Chaz Desk. You've been with us since day 1, too, I believe. Sean, danger. What is that all about? Nothing that I have really is any sort of a danger right now. It's actually
because you were talking about the spreads, right? So
and I
stocks
said
with bigger spreads have more danger, but it's all right.
I'm down with that call. So good. Thank you, Neil, for that one. Yeah, the only thing I wish that we still had, I mean, we still have everything. We still have the majority of it. This was a big win for Facebook. The only thing here, I was just looking at Rocket. This one, like we had bought there, sold. So that was a flat trade. Bought here, out. That was a winning trade. But now, you know, we should have had that long. Should have held some more of this one there. So good one there to the upside. Right now, we're 4 for 4. Everything in the money. Finally, Beyond Meat starting to go. Screw you, anyways. And then QS now. What did I say? Well, I'm not giving this up in the 30s, man. Not when we're all the way up here. So look what's happening right now as we go, guys. A nice little trade here for that name. QS now upside. Just took that out. 70 right there. So thank you very much, QS, in your face as we hold that, as it doesn't want to give us those shares. So a nice little trade here for QS, guys. Big one. 70 cents in the money on QS, $1 in the money on Palantir, now 50 cents in the money on Beyond Meat, but who cares about that one, as we say? Now we just need space to go. And what a great call that was off this bottom. I didn't take it, but that was a good call.
Yeah, and speaking of a good calls, I wish that you talking about wishing holding trades. I mean, obviously could have taken some more out of Plug, but you got to move on to the next, and on to the next might be 48 even. Just for like, and a breakout trade will be most of it likely scalped out, right? So it's like get out of most of it as fast as you can for the quick win, then hold the rest for a bigger move, and that gives you the opportunity to maybe buy a dip into 47. So with all that said, 48 is coming up. It's a 47.95 high, which I'm always going to round up on a breakout style trade at this time of day. So let's plug that one. No, I can't say plug that one away. Let's look at that trade as it is upcoming. It's sort of consolidating lower, or at least attempting to. So it might not happen now. It might happen in 20 minutes. It might happen after the show. But watch out for Plug breaking through high of the day. I do have to sit through this, I guess, lack of action. Lack of activity is the only thing I can say for this GameStop, right? I think that's holding this AMC break or secondary break up a little bit. And if it does, and I'm talking about GameStop here, if GameStop breaks this little 117 low, the higher low that it's put in, this didn't happen yesterday. That's why I made a bit of a ramp at this time in yesterday's trade. But if it does break this, and I have a chance to get out of AMC above $8, I'll probably just go ahead and do that. I use these as barometers for each other. So if I get a breakdown at a level like this in GameStop, there's no need to take an unnecessary hit in AMC. So it's in the money now, just making some plans in case it goes wrong. And speaking of making plans, I got to hit this one for you guys because there was a fantastic trade yesterday on Twitter. And we're going to start doing this more often. Of course, you've been following along. Check these out because we go through, and this is in case Sean went through his Twitter trade. Why was it in play? How did he get in? Why did he get in? Where did he get out? The thought process of winning trades. We can do some losing ones. As a matter of fact, I might even find a loser if we can do one there. Just to give you guys an idea of what's going on in our heads. Sometimes on the show live here, we go a little bit fast because things are exciting and there are moving parts with the market. But we can take a time to breathe and break it down for you. So check that one out on our Market Wisdom page, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea that we had there to release some of those trade reviews. So we'll be doing that again today after market, excuse me. So definitely check that out. I mean, I could use QS, man. I mean, this is a big trade for me here, buying these. I mean, if you ever see me average in, then you know that we at least have a decent amount of shares. So we take some 83s, we take some 08s there. We got first out for 27, so that was about a 25, 30-cent win. And then right there at 62, that's about $1 win right there. And then now we're long 55.09s. So now we have that dollar again. I mean, depending on where we're going, this is $1.20 in the money right here for QS. Palantir still high side, $1.26 now in the money on Beyond Meat. I mean, if I just held everything, I'd be okay, but we didn't, so we got hit. Downside now, that's Beyond Meat. We're getting very, very close to our interview time right now, but Brendan, give it to us.
I was talking about Microvision a little bit early on. We had a little bit of strength coming through on MVIS. Here's the other one, Velodyne, VLDR, just popping up on volume here, guys. Some bottom picking maybe underway.
That's like that little that's been getting like just crushed. I don't know why that wasn't on my radar today. That's a little bit frustrating. It is what it is. But I do want to come back to, you mentioned Nicola, Brendan. Where are you? There you are. There's Nicola. You mentioned Nicola there, Brendan. And in terms of stocks that are making a bit of a bounce off the low, clearly there's probably not too many better shorts off the open than Nicola was today, but that's not currently what's happening. It's bouncing back above VWAP. If the market's going to roll over and we're going to have a bit of a slide, I sort of asked myself, like, where would I want to jump into the shorts? So similar to what we were talking about with Plug, and I guess to a certain extent BNGO, which didn't go as well, you start to think about what could have a bit of a flush. Now, if we reject this little pullback in Nicola, maybe you get an opportunity to play the weakness below, call it like 1820. I think probably a little bit better, like 1815. Give it all the way back to 1830, so 1850. So risk like 30, 40 cents. Now the problem with this is, as it's happening right now, if we break out and consolidate above this and break out 1870, you're probably throwing that away. But if the market turns around, which currently it's not, but I want to anticipate that it might, if it turns around, you might want to have something to the short side. To trade throughout lunchtime or at least in the afternoon. And Nicola would be that as long as it can hold at or below VWAP here, which of course, the second I start talking about what I want to happen, it starts breaking up. And I don't want to be long Nicola today.
Oh yeah, we didn't do lunch money today. Maybe we'll do that soon, as I know Brendan is preparing for his interview. So just let us know in the chat, Brendan, if you want to do that, or I can sort of just do it myself. But I know there's a graphic for it, so you guys let us know if you want to do that. Some people asking about lunch money. Okay, right now, look. We're cruising, man. Everything's in the money. It's doing pretty well for us as we go. We have AMC bad wick here. I got to clean that up. Just wanted to show you that 860 level was a good one. We got out, basically, we did get out at the high of the day. Now it faded back in. It breaks view up and we get out. But what a good pickup that was at that 780 level. If you guys noticed, again, it's going to be hard, but there's that level right there. Neil called it out when it was happening. I called it out in the pre-market. That 780 has been the bottom for a little while. Oh, hell yeah, right now, guys, as we go. $1.50 in the money right now on Beyond Meat. It doesn't matter. It's a small position, but still adding. It's still adding up, so we'll take it. $1.20 now in the money on Palantir as hello, right back to the upside there. So good trade on Palantir. I was going to try to buy some after the show was over, but now I guess still a good price. Why not? Anything below 25, I think, is a deal for this. And then QS, bring the pain. Bang for QS, man. 56.70 right now is where we're going to try to get out upside right there. $1.11. So we have 3 trades on board right now, each sub-dollar or more than, greater than $1 winner on these names. So happy with this turnaround in the NASDAQ. Man, it was a slippery slope down there, but we did pick up the right stocks, I believe, at the bottom, QS, Palantir, and then we had a nice little Facebook runner that happened to the upside as well, long through 259. I always like it when Valeria's smiling and laughing. So it's been a good day for us here. We're exhausted. It's a Friday, but we have an interview coming up. It's going to be a good one. And then we're still going to be trading, man. Uber, a nice little pickup too. Down up now 2%, but Uber, wow. I talked about that with you yesterday, Brendan. Let me see where the price is on Uber. I think this is definitely worth picking up if you have a long-term portfolio. I'll discuss this when we get back.
And I saw the chuckle there. It's happy hour in Aussie land, I think. So have fun, Russell. Do your thing over there. But I can't ignore this bit of a rollover. GameStop just broke back down below 120, so it might test that low. And I said, hey, look, if we resist VWAP, this is why I took some of my trade out on AMC. If I can get out at profit, if we break 115, I would go ahead and do that. It hasn't happened yet, but I said, make that plan of action before it does. So GameStop, I think part of the reason why you get this rejection, but there was some chop in this zone. That's why I aggressively was taking it out into this price range. I didn't want to get more out. Beggars can't be choosers. It was a good reversal from 85. It was a solid add when it broke 805. But if it turns around and we take out the low on GameStop, you don't want to give that profit back. There's other trades to be had. When a stock is done 60 million shares and gives you so many of these like consolidation breaks, you want to make sure that if you can be active, take advantage of it. That's why we're giving you guys the ideas that we have in that regard. From that, and I want to just check back in on BNGO, and I sort of said that this one hadn't worked as well off the bottom. Now it did in plug, clearly, which is still testing 48 at the top. And I'm still going long if it breaks that 48. But BNGO did not quite get as far. It still worked. You now have a consolidation that same, and this is the level I liked originally. I'm like, why can't it hold 990? Well, it's trying to hold 990 here. So if we're going to talk about, like, well, whether we're doing lunch money or not, now I know we talk about this when we don't have a guest, but if we're going to hold this level, I'm going to like a sort of a break at this like 1005, give it to like 990, especially the longer we consolidate, the kind of the more I'm going to like it. The only problem with that is if we can't hold, let me just go to the ES if I can for you guys. I usually use this for a room when he comes on. But if the ES can't actually sort of hold this like midpoint range here, and we sort of slide back testing 3,800, like there's no way I want to be in the long trade and then working on a random stop. If we break 3,800, I would probably just get out of that long thinking that it's going to at least test some of those lows, guys. So I would watch out. The market's in a bit of a range-bound trade here, but if you sort of look at draw back, that 3,800 is clearly a bit of a key level. You go back to a couple of days. I wouldn't want to be digging into a long on a stock which has already had a big pullback right as we break that 38. So just keep watching the futures, keep watching treasuries, keep watching. You have to watch all these things at once, gold, Bitcoin. If those are all breaking down at key levels at the same time, you really, really want to be very careful about any longs that you happen to have.
I see a lot of celebrations on ADA. Yeah, Cardano. If you weren't watching the show back in January, then you wouldn't have had. I'm in the money at $1. We bought a hell of a lot of this at 18 cents. So good trade there for Cardano. And guess what? You guys may think you have the best wife, and there's nothing wrong with that. But mine drives halfway across the city, actually into other new cities there, going into different cities. And there it is, Brendan. You see them. The TaylorMades are in the building right now. So new irons. I'm coming after you, Brendan. Now I've got the new driver. I've got the hybrid. And now we go to the iron game. I love you. Thank you so much to my wife, driving everywhere this morning. She phoned yesterday, picked these up. The new irons are here, Brendan. Graphite, Brendan, to take care of my slow swing there. We'll hit some graphite irons there. Thank you so much. But there it is right there, guys. They didn't cover your irons. Bad shipping. Oh, no, she took them off. They are covered. So these irons, someone just said they didn't cover your irons. They are covered. There is, looks like there is anyways, whatever there's plastic covering them. So, yep, whatever. I don't know. I'm not at home. So we'll see how that is. But thank you to the wife and thank you to Gulf Town. Let's go, Brendan. It's going to be March very, very soon. And then we'll hit those links, bud.
I think we are.
All right, guys. Yeah, very excited. We've been talking about the fact that it's been an exceptional start to the year for the cannabis sector as a whole. It was a great end to the year last year as well. We're very, very excited to have Brad Rogers, Chairman and CEO of Red, White, and Bloom, back with us once again to give us an update on the company. Great to see you, Brad. Welcome back to the show. It's, as I mentioned, it's been a very exciting start to the new year for cannabis stocks as a whole. For anyone who maybe, tuning in, missed you the last time you were on the show, give us an update on Red, White, and Bloom. For anyone who's not familiar with the company, just give us an overview of what it is you're focused on currently.
Sure. Yeah. Look, you're right. It's a great start to the year. We're very excited about what's going on in the market, but specifically for us, we've been flying stealth for a little while and doing what we said we'd be doing since we got into the market about 5 years late, but we're doing a really good job at catching up. So for those who aren't familiar with the story and those who want to catch up, Red, White, and Bloom is a brand focused super state operator, we call ourselves. We're super state, being that we are we're more aligned in working in states at critical mass versus smaller scale, and many of them. So we have just since recently gone into our latest state, which is Florida, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But our beachhead was Michigan, where we started, and we started that with as an investor in a privately held investment company that we invested in, that grew to about 20+% of the Michigan market, and we took a real good foothold, a very foundational place for us to start. And then we went into Illinois, and then we went into California. We bought a company called Platinum Vapes, which is one of the biggest vape companies in America. And then we licensed the High Times brand into those states and into Michigan and Illinois, and we took the rights for Florida as well. In the meanwhile, Platinum Vapes, the company we took on, was already in Oklahoma and already had a deal in place in Arizona through an MSO that we're going to be doing business with in the very short future. So when you look at the footprint that we've grown with in a very short order, we're in Michigan, Illinois, California, Arizona, Oklahoma, and now we've just entered Florida, which is a fantastic state. We just bought Acreage's holdings. So we're darn excited about everything that's going on there, and we can't wait to get started in all of these markets that we're just embryonic in, and we're growing foundationally in the other ones that we're in right now. So pretty good start.
Yeah, so very active on the M&A front going into the new year this year. You mentioned a few ideas and a few deals that have been done: Michigan, Illinois, Florida. Let's talk about Platinum Vapes. Maybe explain the concept there with Platinum Vapes and what that brings overall to the company. Incredible story.
I mean, Platinum Vapes is a California brand. Started here in California in San Diego, which I'm at right now, and it's a father and son that just grew this thing, and it grew via care and culture. They did a really good job of really sort of making a brand out of this and making a great experience and standing on the pillars of what brands stand on, which is price, quality, and convenience. And they've executed on that judiciously and with discipline over the last few years. And so it became a very, very big piece of our business in Michigan, and we saw that as a very good fit for us to be able to take that asset on and really control that much more of the market beyond that of our brick and mortar footprint in Michigan. But we saw it as a big brand to be able to go and exploit in the other markets that we're in as well. And we couldn't be happier. It's since doubled in revenue since we've taken it, and we see big things for that. And then of course we're going to piggyback those formulations and really expand on that brand portfolio and product lines with the Platinum Vape product itself, and then of course High Times on top of that. And we've got a few other very exciting brand initiatives that we're going to bring into the house of brands that we're starting to build already. So that's effectively where Platinum Vapes is, and it's doing incredible revenue, and we couldn't be happier with that acquisition.
So when it comes to High Times, a name that everyone has heard as far as name recognition, it really doesn't get any bigger. The second line of products now being released when it comes to the state of Michigan. Talk about what that means for the company, getting into the state first off, and then now coming back with the second line of products.
Yeah. So look, High Times has been around for 46 years. 46 years in to be talking about cannabis and being an advocate for cannabis. Now we actually get to contextualize it and put it into real product. And so they've been arbiters of just making sure that everyone knows what quality is and what cannabis is and the safety and the efficacy about it. And they've been responsible to do that since day one. And so we couldn't be happier, more proud to represent that brand in the markets that we're in, to be able to actually push that a little further into people's mindset. When you get into a market with a mindset that's already got mind share of a brand, that's leveraging brand equity beyond that of what anybody could build right now. So when you look at High Times, I call it the biggest brand in cannabis and the only real brand in cannabis, really, for that matter. And to be able to do it right with price, quality, and convenience, that's the things that the brands stand on, and we're able to execute on that. It's an incredible opportunity for us, and the terms of the deal are fantastic as well, very favorable to RWB, and of course we're going to perform for High Times as well. So looking at shareholder value, I don't think we could have done a better deal on a brand situation with both Platinum Vapes and High Times to start as a foundation with where we're going right now. They appeal to two different psychographics and demographics, and of course we've got the rest of the Cannabis Cup with events that we were able to do in Michigan and Illinois. So I mean, with what we have with those brands, and to be able to leverage those things and then pull other brands into that portfolio and really appeal to all the, one brand is not going to appeal to everybody, right? Not everybody drinks Starbucks in the morning, but I do, and that's for me. But there's Dunkin', there's Tim Hortons for the old Canadians back at home. But yeah, so everybody's got their own little thing, and they appeal to different. So we know that, and we're going to appeal to that. And what's going to stand in a commodity, what commodities are going to stand in, I apologize, is going to be a brand. And so brands are going to prevail here, and that's what we're doing right now. We're fortifying our business with brands and distribution. We're being great channel partners and standing on all those pillars that brands stand on.
Brad Rogers, Chairman and CEO of Red, White, and Bloom, with us today. Brad, let's take a step back, maybe talk about the overall sector as a whole here. From a higher perspective, this new administration in the White House, possible, more favorable policies to come as far as the U.S. Is concerned. What does that mean for a company like Red, White, and Bloom?
Well, I guess it means that when you look at federalization, we can operate now. So I came from Canada where we're federally operating, and so we're very successful. I had two of the biggest medical focused companies in Canada. So when you're able to actually provide a product such as cannabis with a label claim on it, and that's what we want to do. So we want to normalize this into not, hey, what percentage is this today versus I know what it's going to be when I get it. And again, that's a brand proposition. So when I'm able to deliver my 30% Gold Kush every single time as 30% Gold Kush with that label claim on it, it's very similar to liquor or alcohol. So when you walk into your liquor store, you're not going to guess what the alcohol content of your spirit is. It's 40% per volume every single time. And so very similarly, what I'd like to do was with our products, put label claim on it and make sure that there's a deliverable to that, and there's a consistency to it. So if you're in Florida and you love my 30% Gold Kush, you're going to be in California and you're going to be able to get my 30% Gold Kush as well. So that's very important to me for consistency across the country when federalization comes in. And then of course there's capital pieces of it as well. So when you look at when federalization happens, there's a lot of funds and a lot of family offices that have governance and rules that can't touch this business yet. And I've done capital sweeps across the USA for probably 10 years now. And I'm thinking, they're saying to me, when this comes, there's hundreds of billions of dollars ready to just pour into this space. And so we're positioning ourselves and fortifying our businesses for when that money comes in to grow even bigger than we're going to have a position in when it comes. So heads down right now for us. We've been very judicious with our capital. We've grown exponentially with what we've had, respectfully. So we've probably spent, 10 cents to every other dollar that the big boys have spent to get to where we're at, to actually have a platform to compete effectively with them. So, when you look at us as an investment, I think we're very, very competitive with respect to what's going on in the market. And you look at the arbitrage of what's going on with respect to where our stock is. That's a big, big plus for us. And then to get back to your point of federalization, when that happens, that tide is going to come in, and all those strong boats without the holes in them are going to float, and we're going to be one of them.
When you mentioned the amount of money that still is possibly on the sidelines waiting to be invested into this sector, where do you see the trends maybe going? Where do you see the product line trends? Where do you see the 6 month, maybe go out a year or 2 years? What does this sector look like from a product standpoint? So
it's again, this is fortification of brands, and I think in a commoditized space such as cannabis, and it is all it is a commodity, really it is. If you can bring a great quality product to a commoditized market, get a brand around it, get loyalty towards that brand through a dedicated demographic that you're serving, and of course, align your portfolio with what is being purchased at the time and be innovative as well in terms of form factors. That's effectively where we're going to be in 2 years, let's call it. It's still embryonic. I mean, we're in the very early stages of what I call, it's the end of prohibition, effectively. And so, this is the very, very early stages of it. And so, when you bet on Jack Daniels, did you know you were betting on one of the biggest liquor companies in the world? Probably not. But this is where you're going to be making your bets. And so for us, I think, we're going to consider ourselves, perhaps the Jack Daniels of the world, and just bring this out of prohibition into a standardized quality product across our house of brands that we're going to be representing throughout America. And, that's effectively a simple game plan, but the simple game plans are typically the most effective.
Brad Rogers,
so, it's a brand play.
Yeah, Brad Rogers, Chairman and CEO of Red, White, and Bloom. It's an exciting time. Sir, we look forward to another update in the future.
Thank you so much. Really great to be here. Good to see you.
Good to see you again as well. There you go, guys. Look at Red, White, and Bloom. One of the smaller plays in the cannabis sector, but an exciting one, guys.
Yes, sir, and thank you very much once again. Now, ultimately, we might not have gotten to lunch money, but I did talk about plug power here through 48, and the plan of action. Scalp out the first couple of levels here in the 25 area, that 50 area, and then hang on to the rest. So plan of action works well. That's a good one, and I'll be happy about it. But I did talk about that 115 on GameStop, and if it did break, that was going to be a momentum short. I did grab it, and this is the same thing that happened last time. Look at this. So actually a weaker move down, is able to get out, then break even on the last third, but that also stopped me out of that last little bit of AMC. So as much as the AMC long was a good one, I said if GameStop broke 115, I would have to get out of it. So a winner is a winner, and we'll be happy with it. But ultimately, GameStop heading to the south side. But it's only my fourth trade on GameStop, trying to pick my spots here. Wow, only a couple of minutes left to go to end off the week. Let's go to Brendan.
I was just double checking on Workhorse. Yeah, it is actually. Monday, guys, earnings on Workhorse before market opens. So that's about it. Typically Friday, not extremely busy night as far as earnings, but Workhorse really the only exciting one coming up before the market opens on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not expecting any earnings. I don't know what they even have too many products or not. But okay, so I just reviewed, man. We're gonna go 7 for 10 today. 8 for 10. Only losers. We lost on Rocket and we lost on Beyond Meat. Other than that, we're good to go. 7 for 10 or 8 for 10 today. I don't know where there's other losers there. I don't have one, so that's it. Okay, and this is QS, man. We just take that out. Feeling like Superman on this call, man. This was a good trade. Breaking through 55. Again, we picked out the bottoms there. Got out on that one, so bang, bang, bang. 3 times out there. That last out is 56.75 off of a 55 long, so that's $1.75 in the money. My biggest stock, though, today is Palantir. Good one. I mean, all the way up there. Look at that last out, 23.90. So good trade there, Palantir. We didn't take it until we tried to find a bottom there. I'm always going to do that on Palantir, man. I guess we could have bottom picked right here as well. 23 and change, but we didn't there. We actually waited for it to break and then see the resistance at that bottom spot. So that allowed us to get some 22.90s, 23 and change. Then we go to the long side right there. So, yep, it's going to be a negative day because it's so stupid that I can go 8 for 10 and be negative, but I'm going to blame the watch today. So we're going to do, we'll wear the big guy on Monday again and just keep on doing that. But I just didn't think it fit with the sweater, although I've worn it every day with my sweater. Again, Valeria, what day is it?
Thank you, Sean. And hey, guys, another trading week together came to the end. Big thank you to Russell Jackson from Australia for being so generous on Super Chats today. Guys, thank you to you all for Super Chats, for kind words, for all the likes and support. We see you all and love the community to the moon. Please have a great weekend, rest well, and we will see you on Monday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And we continue with nuts. Happy National Pistachio Day, everyone.
There you go. It's a nutty type of day once again. I absolutely love pistachios. You cannot go wrong with them. Watch out, a little bit of a bounce here happening off that GameStop, and AMC through 8 could be interesting if we hold that low. I'm actually going to go short through a 112 break on GameStop if it does break that low of the day. Just to remind you guys, there is still time for us to get to 5,000 likes, and we got there yesterday, so that means I'm going to have to shave all of this off. More importantly, we got to 6, which means Miss V is going to be donning the pink hair. Oh, the things she does for you guys to keep you guys happy, the things we do to try and entertain you, give you the winning trades, show you the losing trades as well, and bring you fantastic guests. Shout out to Brennan for conducting a fantastic interview there, and a little diamond transaction, holding on to, I think it's that Beyond Meat there.
Yeah, I want to talk about Cardano, though. You got to have diamond hands for this one, guys. This one back up again, all-time highs on this one, 121. This has a $5 handle on it probably at some point. Do some research on Cardano. We like that one. Beyond Meat, $1.35 in the money. But yeah, it's been a good ride here. Watch out for some of these crypto plays. I just told a friend that I think BTC now probably gets bought up. I do like that rebound off this 46.5 here. And so if you want to look at Bitcoin, I definitely think there's some opportunities here. If you check the daily chart, some nice bottoms right down here, 45 and change. Just hit that again. I don't know if we get to 58 over the weekend, but I do think that this could have been a bottom. Watch out, though, if you are long Bitcoin, maybe get some out if it does crack below 44,000. But have a great, fantastic weekend, guys. It's been a big show, a big day, and a big week. We're on fire. Join us on Monday.
Absolutely. As always, we're going to be here. We never take a day off unless the market takes a day off. For the entire team, for Ms. V, see you in pink. I'm my man Sean Katina. Brendan Wickens, as always, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.